Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon in every time zone across this great big and also tiny planet of ours, everywhere where you get internet, live from rugged Nova Scotia, Canada, where we are looking forward to being blasted by yet another hurricane on Monday, because that's the kind of people we are. Welcome to Toast AM, as always, with my co-hostess of the mostest. You're not a co-hostess. You're Dave.
I don't know where we're going with this, but I love it. I'm here for it.
Wow.
I got the most.
You got the most. You are very colorful. You are
Thank
matching
you. Yes,
you're matching your lovely new poster in color scheme.
it is too. I Hawaiian shirt Fridays here at Toast to Toast, Paul. So I thought I see you are also wearing your most colorful shirt.
I actually
Very nice.
oddly
Oh,
I now through a weird story that we will not get into, I now have a black Hawaiian shirt.
yes. That's maybe that'll be a treat for the 2-year anniversary here in a month.
Maybe, sure, yeah.
We can bust out the black Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it's not so different from this one.
Well, I'm trying to, spice it up. Hey, how are you doing, Paul?
I am doing well. We haven't had that many Toast to Toasts this summer.
We have not, and it's been a month since we had our last one-ish, right?
Indeed.
I think, yeah.
But I'm hoping that we will. I'm hoping that this will be back to. This is sort of marks, I think, hopefully the return to regularly scheduled Toast to Toasts.
Yes, as we get into the fall and normal. That's summer, right? There's things happening all the time, so it's tough. But we're gonna be hopefully now in a little more of a predictable regular schedule because we miss you people. I don't know about Paul. I can't speak for Paul.
No, well, we enjoy.
I miss you. I enjoy spending time with all of you. There's also Paul's, here on the show too. And he feels how he feels. That
I also missed. I was thinking about it just this week several times. I'm like, I was very excited that at the end of the week I was going to get to hang out with our friends, the Toast to Toast crew.
Yes,
including but not limited to the Black Box crew.
You already got shade being thrown at you in chat.
Yeah, well, that's par for the course.
That's par for the course. I wore a spacey themed sort of. I should have worn my Lovecraft astronaut shirt. That would have been a good one to go with tonight's show. I wasn't thinking. Oh well.
Oh well.
This is a good shirt though. I do like this one. It's nice to see it. The
Mos Eisley Cantina, absolutely.
Yeah. I just like the design of it. Like
we don't serve their kind here.
Yeah, no droids allowed. Oh, I'm drinking, Paul, and you're drinking too. But we got it before we drink.
We need toast.
We need a toast.
Cheers to.
What should we toast to? Here's the weathering another hurricane.
That's right. Cheers.
Good on you, Atlantic Canada.
Oh,
good, Timothy. I'm glad
I had the that was once again my favorite black barrel tequila.
Mm-hmm.
And where I was switching to rum and coke back to normal, but I like to start that one off. Give me a jump start, as it were.
Yeah.
So often we have a game that goes with our show. Tonight we are playing bingo.
Playing bingo. Everyone likes bingo.
So we have I put the link in the chat if anyone wants to join in with us. Here's my bingo card and here's Dave's bingo card. We'll be playing along.
And Paul, you and I can both already. We just had a toast.
That's right. We can mark off. I have a drink.
Ding. We're already tied.
All right. So let us know if you are playing along in the chat. You can get your own bingo card.
If you win and tell me what number card you have, I can confirm your win and tell you officially that you're the best.
That's right.
That's pretty much all that is. But still feels nice.
Still feels nice. It's fun.
Better
It's
than
fun to
losing.
compete.
Yeah.
It lets you and I be, and also as because we get to be somewhat arbiters
Hmm.
of what happens here. So, and I am the final arbiter of who which things are which because you are far too lenient.
Well, I now look. I think that okay, this is I don't even know how to respond to these baseless and
Well, here's how we need to
uh,
respond. Things would be better if we had some more money, but we're around here. We're on a budget.
we
We
are
can't.
at a budget, and we haven't been doing shows.
I
And you know
know
what, Paul? You know what you make on a show you don't do?
nothing.
Roughly,
That's right.
roughly nada, zip, zero, zilch. So we gotta shake off the cobwebs
That's
and
right.
get going.
But
And,
before,
and
but let's
yeah,
not be in the doldrums, Dave,
no,
because
not at
we
all.
have a as far as you represent, there's
Yeah.
a line of fine companies
Oh, heck yeah.
anxious to associate themselves with our little show.
Not sure how I feel about that inference, but yes, there are. We have no shortage of wonderful companies that are queuing up, as our friends across the pond say, Paul, to give us their money, and we have one of them lined up for tonight. Somebody very exciting. I would love to take some time and tell you all about it, if you don't mind, Paul. I mean, this okay. So tonight we have a very very special sponsor. Um, Between you and me and Art, rest in peace, and the huge audience watching this very special edition of Toast to Toast, the only stream currently on YouTube. I'm going to let you know I have been trying to land this sponsor for over a year, Paul. This has been a deal a long, long time in the making. Um, I am a longtime user of their product. I'm a huge fan of the work that they do. So you can imagine, Paul, I've had a grin on my face all week. When they finally lined up, they returned my calls. We set up a meeting. They learned about the good work that we're doing here on Toast to Toast, and they were so impressed that they couldn't wait to sponsor the show. But before I introduce them, Paul, I would like to ask you a question, if I could.
A question. All right.
Yeah, Paul, what would you say, in general terms, is the single greatest fear of the human race?
Uh, well, allegedly public speaking, and then death.
Okay. See, and I would universally from all of human history, no matter the age, the era, person, it's death, the inevitable end to all of us. No matter what you do, after Paul, you've had the time of your life, you have to pay the high cost of living. And there have been some truly amazing, borderline miraculous, I don't use that word lightly, advances in medical technology in the last 25 years. But I'll tell you right now, Paul, the death rate currently is still holding steady at 100%. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be changing anytime soon. So, what does that have to do with you and me and the watchers of this stream? Well, I'm not going to try and tell you that I have a sponsor lined up that will let you avoid the icy grip of the Grim Reaper. That would make me a charlatan or some kind of snake oil salesman, like some of the people that you take issue with on your main channel. No, but what I can tell you is that there is a way to practice so that when the inevitable happens to you, you won't be caught with your pants down. If you want to be ready to face the end with dignity and poise, all you have to do is practice embracing oblivion a little each and every day with today's show's sponsor, sleep. That's right, Paul, sleep. It literally couldn't be any easier. All you have to do is lay down in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and wait. That's it, Paul. That is it. If you wait long enough, eventually you will fall asleep. Now you ask, how will I know that I've fallen asleep? No problem. The innovative design team at Sleep have made it so simple. Paul, when you open your eyes after sleeping, you will find that significant time has passed. Typically, it's about 4 to 8 hours. But in the case of certain Van Winkles, it can last up to 20 years. And I can hear you starting to panic, dear viewers. What happened during that time? What did I do? What was done to me? Paul, the truth is nobody knows. Perhaps the crack researchers at Sleep do, but if they do, they're not telling. But it doesn't matter. The point is, you just get to close your eyes and sleep. And so you see, Paul, sleep allows you to experience the state of non existence just a little bit at a time and learn for yourself that it's really not so bad. It's actually quite restful and relaxing. And what's more, Paul, a bloke down at the pub the other night told me that if you eat a little poison every day, eventually you develop a tolerance for it and even eventually an immunity to it. So I figure by dying a little each night, eventually you are going to render yourself impervious to death. I want to emphasize that this is not a promise made by the people at Sleep. And in fact, they specifically told me not to tell that to people and actually sort of hinted I should probably play down the whole death angle. Off putting was a phrase that was used in some of our meetings. Creepy was another. Frankly, disgusting and manipulative. Please don't were notes that I received and read throughs. And you know what? I appreciate the input of our sponsors and partners, but these fools are sitting on a gold mine, Paul, and I want to help them realize it. So I say, get sleeping, and probably you'll live forever. And as if that wasn't enough, Paul, the people at Sleep have an exclusive offer for the viewers of this show. Just use the promo code Toast to Toast, that's TOST, the number 2, TOST, the next time you fall asleep to receive at absolutely no extra cost, no charge, completely free, gratis, a large punching bag stuffed with hay. Apparently, Paul, if you hit it, it practically guarantees a restful night of slumber. And it is especially recommended if you have to get up early and then hit the road. I should emphasize the road is not included. So don't walk, Paul. Run to your local sleep distributor and grab a stack of Z's today. You'll be glad that you did. Sleep.
I mean, cheers to sleep. I hear great things.
Really great stuff. Yeah.
Not every product works, for everybody. Not every product is for.
I feel like all of our products work for everybody.
Maybe you could put me in touch with the troubleshooters over at
Yeah.
the help desk over
I
at the Sleep.
could use some of that myself.
Mm.
You know, you know what I feel like your problem is, Paul. They did mention to me that if you're wicked, it can be tough getting rest.
Oh, I see. Well,
There might be none. There might be no rest for those people. It's hard to say.
Well, that might be my problem right there.
I mean, certainly according to some authorities on YouTube I've seen. Yes.
Yes, that's true. It's true. My comment section is full of helpful hints like that.
Helpful hints.
We have some super chats, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
The other way we keep the lights on here is, we have our sponsors, and we have the fine folks who are kind enough to want to throw a few pennies our way, a few dollars, sometimes many dollars. It's crazy.
Sometimes. Yeah. We appreciate everyone.
That's right. We appreciate all of them. We have Rosina, who writes, "It's a pity I have to sleep due to fatigue just as Toast to Toast starts. Grr." That came in before the sponsor read, I think, Dave.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I'm pretty sure that came in
that's
before or during the sponsor read, so that's pretty good.
That's has Rosina been reading my Google Docs?
It's very prescient.
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
And
someone's been
but we have Rosina. Oh, They followed up. Rosina
Mm,
followed up with a
yes,
separate $10 super chat. Today's sponsor sends paralysis demons after me. Oh well, that is
that is that's another guy. That's not them.
that's not
You're,
officially the fine folks
yeah.
that sleep.
You're thinking of some other
Mm,
companies, some other sleeps. That's not these ones. These are the good
that
kind.
is so. That is one of the things they try and ruin. They try and ruin good things, right? Like so,
Hmm.
you know, let's say for example, some people want to put like green tea leaves
Hmm.
in water. That's not the
Yeah.
fault of the fine folks at water.
No. Nope.
So I feel
They
like
just
the paralysis demons,
yeah.
they're just piggybacking. They're not officially sanctioned. Jay Victor,
Yes.
$5 super chat. Question: why should I choose sleep over nap or passing out? These are excellent questions.
These are. And look, I'm not gonna naps have been a sponsor of this show previously. Passing out is often something that happens after one of these shows
That's correct.
for frankly unknowable reasons. It's it's just one of the mysteries. Like, why is the sky blue? That's it just is. Shut up. But here's why sleep is a superior product, Paul. Um, you get more of it, and more is always better.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. What do I always say, Paul?
More is better.
Better too much than not enough.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Dave.
Well, someone asked, "Is Art no longer with us?" Yes, no. Unfortunately, Art has been dead for some time now. Regrettably,
All
I
right.
can't.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
Dave,
Yes.
today we have oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, it isn't the wrong
Mm-mm.
one. It's just it's gone to sleep.
Uh-oh. There we go. Yes.
So tell me about this because tonight's Art Bell episode
Yes.
is related to this. Tell me and those who don't know.
What Skinwalker Ranch
Yeah,
is?
because I don't particularly I know that there's a show, the
Yep.
television show on the History Network, and
Yep.
everything on the History Network is accurate history.
Is
That's the
accurate
other
in
thing I
history.
know.
Yep. Yep. So I have not watched the show, so I can't comment too much on that, and I won't even try because somebody in chat will just be like, "That's not what the show is about." Um, so Skinwalker Ranch is famous in UFO slash cryptid hunter circles, cryptozoological circles. Um, it's in the American, desert. Uh, there is, it's kind of um, like the real story of the sort of the Amityville horror. Like, this family buys this ranch that's been abandoned for years because apparently there's just like this long history of weird things and terrible things happening there, and it is documented. Basically, a lot of cattle mutilations, weird things. So some people are like, these are alien experiments. Um, or there's, it's the work of Skinwalker, which is an old, I want to say, Navajo legend, kind of like the Wendigo. Like, it's sort of this evil, shape shifting killer demon beast thing. You call it a Skinwalker because it can change it, like it
Right.
changes its shape, can be like a man, can show up as like your family or somebody, and they want to cause pain and suffering and death everywhere they go. They're agents of evil and chaos. And I'm also not an expert in Navajo, lore, so I won't get into that. There we go. Somebody said Timothy Harmon, Skinwalkers are Navajo witches. C.T. Hillerman. There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's like lots of, in this one particular place, lots and lots of um sightings, evidence, crazy things that have happened, allegedly documented, multi-witness, horrific things. And I won't get into it too much because I want, but I'm sure they will on the show.
Okay.
But that's
Yeah, no,
Skinwalker
sounds
Ranch.
good. So this show, remind me when this was from 2007.
It's 2002. Oh, 2007. Well, I was way off.
So this is pretty late
This is late for art.
for
Yeah.
in the Art Bell
Yeah.
Art Bell mode. And the guests were George Knapp,
Mm-hmm.
who, as I recall, George Knapp was sometimes fill in for Art.
Yes. Yep.
And the other guest was someone named Colm Kelleher.
Who I think was also some kind of reporter or somebody involved in like media, something. Like both of them are people who have experience broadcasting.
Okay.
Which so they both. That's one of the nice things about this episode is like they aren't really awkward and quiet when they're talking. They're all people who are clearly experienced speaking in front of a microphone and know how to be engaging. So it makes
Okay.
it
All right. Well, then, without further ado, let's get into let's get to the show.
Mm-hmm.
George Knapp and Colum Kelleher, welcome to...
Hey, Art, how you doing? Art.
George, I build you as the legendary George Knapp.
It makes me feel old. I'd rather be nefarious than legendary.
Well, to some, I'm sure you are. How long, George, since...
You can be both.
You can be both. You can be both. Yeah.
we have spoken?
4 or 5 years.
At least.
Welcome back, Art.
Great to be here. And Colum, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Art. It's good to be with you again.
You'll be with us for an hour, Colum?
I've got to go back to work after the hour.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'll try and direct a little more toward you than George in the first hour, but both of you are up for this because I want to go back over the ranch. I spent a day with Bob Bigelow last week. I got a tour of the aerospace facility, and Bob talked a bit about the ranch. I thought things had calmed down, but according to Bob, it's still going on. True?
Yes, true. Not only on the ranch, but in the entire area around the ranch. As I think listeners probably know, that area of northeastern Utah near Vernal and Roosevelt has been a hotbed for 50 years, and the ranch is right in the middle of that hotbed. The activity took off when this family moved on in 1994, and then went through a frenetic series of incidents up till about the year 2000. Then it sort of got quiet. But yeah, everything we're hearing is exactly the same as what you were told.
George, have you been up there investigating?
Many times. I went 3 times in the past year. The last time was in October. Mostly what's happened is since the book came out, a lot of people have come out of the woodwork with their own stories about things they've seen up in that area. Colum and Bob Bigelow were kind enough to allow me there the first time in 2002. I'd been pestering them because I was seeing the reports from the ranch.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell anybody, and it drove me crazy. They gave me permission to go ahead and bring a camera to begin work on a documentary, and I've been back, I think, 10 times. It's just about as weird as it gets. Each time we've gone back, we've found new witnesses who've added new pieces to the puzzle, but we're no closer to any answers.
Do either of you have any idea why?
What do you
I mean, there's a
that?
witness, Paul. So
There's a witness, indeed.
Mhm.
Do you know anything? This documentary they're talking about. Are you familiar with that?
No, I don't know if they're talking about that show or if that. I assume there's probably more than one because it is.
I'm guessing not.
Famous,
That Skinwalker
Yeah.
Ranch show
is much newer than 2000.
is much newer than 2007 for sure.
2007. Yeah. Yeah.
Jay Victor, thank you so much for the
Yeah,
super chat.
Jay.
Skinwalker Ranch is a bit of a misnomer. Allegedly, everything from alien sightings to interdimensional beings have been reported in that region. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's
So I feel like it's just some kind of Star Wars infringement. No?
I mean, who can say? They say it's been going back more than 50 years, so maybe
or maybe vice versa.
Maybe
they
the
have a case against George.
interdimensional demons need to retain the services of a good copyright lawyer. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
The ranch, in fact, the area you describe, is such a hotbed.
I think there's hotspots throughout the world and the United States, and this one seems to have been going on for decades, if not centuries. Even if you go back into the Native American legends, the Ute tribe is very prominent in that area. You can go back 10 to 15 generations, and it's always the same. In fact, I believe there's writings from Father Escalante that document a
Super chat.
Super chat.
I don't think Rosina went to bed. I don't think Rosina went to sleep.
Well, I mean, while I'm both honored and delighted that Rosina considers us entertaining and engaging enough to spend the time here and avoid the sleep that is desperately needed, I do feel like, probably getting a good night's sleep is an advisable thing. I have to be, got to be the grown up, right, Paul?
That's right. Well, no, not rarely. Yeah. Anyway, the question is, was it minimal witnesses or 500 witnesses? Yeah, over at the Skinwalker. Yeah, I think we're definitely talking about minimal actual witnesses over there.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat mentioned, Dave, that they can mark off. Paul mentioned Star Wars. Yeah, I guess I did. I guess I just went ahead.
I don't have it on my. I don't have it on my card. Do you have it on yours?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a real coincidence. Hey, there you go.
J. Victor, another $2 super chat.
I don't have any of the Dave ones on my card either. This is gonna be.
You're in a rough spot. Starkiller Ranch was also taken already. Yeah.
You know what they used to grow at that ranch, Paul?
Skin?
Yeah. I was trying to think of something that's blue so that I could make a blue harvest joke. And
gotcha. They grow blueberries.
I'm looking at my diagonal here. So I've got magic, but like real magic. Art uses a folksy expression. Mythological creatures discussed as scientific fact. And Jesus, I feel like I've got that's a contender. That's line, a contender. I think, is going to be a contender tonight. The Jesus actually is the one that I'm like, ooh.
Maybe not today. We'll see.
Yeah. The Lamb of Hosts might not make an appearance in tonight's show.
Exactly.
I do have Shannon as drunken chat, and I did see her in here earlier talking smack about you in your Hawaiian shirt. So
I deserved it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So here's hoping. Shannon, if you're listening,
Dave's counting on you.
Yeah, I need you to be a buddy on this one.
A weird flying object. I think that's going all the way back to the 18th century. That area, for whatever reason, has been a hotbed for decades.
A series of scientists on the program, one last night, and I asked her about this sort of thing, and it was her opinion that vibrational frequencies cause the human brain to see and experience things on the ranch and elsewhere, but it's entirely explicable, and there's nothing weird about it. There are not ghosts. There are not things that move. There are not any of this. It's all, she said, in the human brain, and a specific vibrational frequency that causes people to see and experience these kinds of things. How would you respond to that?
There's ample physical evidence.
You were nodding along.
How would you respond to that? That there is a specific vibrational frequency, the best kind of frequency that can trigger.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, the frequencies that have involved no vibration at all are boring.
Are boring. They're the worst frequencies.
Yeah. So
ask Kenneth; he'll tell you all about it.
I mean, partially, I'm willing to concede that this is probably all in the brain. That would that part I'm good
all
with.
Those cows, Paul? What killed all those cows?
Well, I guess I would be looking for perhaps some evidence about
if
that.
Trolls aren't real, Paul, who killed all those unicorns?
It's a fair point.
Exactly.
Fair point.
You don't have an answer, do you?
I don't. I need to do a little bit more drinking, I think, on this one.
Said at the ranch that NIDS examined over several years. Vibrational frequencies don't carve up cattle. Vibrational frequencies don't dig giant chunks of soil.
I feel like they could.
These are very good frequencies.
I feel like someone must be developing some kind of frequencies that could slice cows.
I mean, to be fair, it probably is a sufficiently. Well, it's not a specific frequency. Like, if you just had a loud enough sound, you could damage things. You could damage people. You could damage ground.
Right.
But a nice, neat cut. I don't think that's.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. So yeah, lasers. I guess lasers don't really count as frequencies.
No.
But light is a wave, Dave.
That is true. I get, and the lasers do involve frequencies, but they're not vibrational ones. They're more of the boring frequencies.
Or hundreds of pounds out of that.
Who in the what now?
Or extra exciting? I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
Out of the ground. They don't leave tracks on the ground. They don't cause odors. That's a nice theory, but it doesn't explain what happened at the ranch.
One of the famous cases happened.
Now this is making me harken back to the actual, day job where it's like, well, do we have those things, or do we have stories of those things? Do we have mutilated cows, or do we have stories of mutilated cows? Do we have tracks on the ground? I don't know that much. I'm still waiting to ramp up. They're not really giving me an on-ramp here for me who doesn't already know much about the Skinwalker.
Well, you just let them get into it.
Let them get into it. All right.
Yeah.
In March 1987, we were called up to the ranch to investigate this 84-pound calf that had been found on the property. A veterinarian did a full necropsy on the animal, and the first thing that he found was this sharp instruments had been used on this animal. It was subsequently verified through 2 forensic labs. When you start getting physical evidence, as George said, vibrational theory begins to
vibrate away.
That particular case was pretty weird. One of the most dramatic mutilation cases NIDS ever investigated. It was 10 o'clock, and the rancher and his wife were tagging ears of newborn calves, maybe 50 yards from their ranch house. It's flat ground. They tag the ear of this calf, go another 100 yards, and after half an hour, hear this noise. The dog makes a noise, looking back in the direction where this calf had been tagged. They see the mother cow dragging its leg, walking in a circle, obviously upset. They go running back there, and this calf had been completely stripped of flesh. I mean, all basically that was left was bone and hide in broad daylight, right there in clear sight of where they were. No sound, no tracks.
All right, it's the Gorman family, right? That's the focus of the book, Skinwalker?
Yes.
I will say, like, if that actually happened, that would be like mind-scarringly horrifying. That, like, if you like just see an animal, you leave, you come back, it's like, and all that's left is the bones and the skin, and everything else is gone. That would be, I think any human being would be like, and now it's time to leave this place forever.
Maybe, you know what?
this wherever we're living, this is not the place to be. Yeah.
Let me just wander around the yard and see if I can't figure out what did this.
Yeah, let me invite some reporters over, take a look. Have a, a veterinarian did a full, what do you call it? What you said, necropsy, or whatever, which I assume is a
it's a
British euphemism for what's the word I'm looking for? Why can't I think of it?
Yeah, I can't think of the autopsy.
Autopsy, that's the one. Yes, yeah. We had a super chat, Paul.
Did they do cattle autopsies? Is that a thing? I guess actually they probably do.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think because it could be big money, right? Like that's the
my grandpa had a cattle ranch, and for sure when one would just drop, then they would definitely want to know.
Yeah, if you weren't expecting or no, it's like, was this anthrax?
Was it infectious or
if it was, we need to find that out right now.
So I will I'll put my guffaws away for now. The cattle autopsy.
Yeah.
CSI Montana is entirely looking at cows. Speaking of Star Wars, did you guys ever see Mr. Plinkett's Red Letter Media's review of the prequels?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Red Letter Media. Don't always agree with them, but I generally like their content. But that put them on the map. The prequels reviews, the Plinkett. That was
Why?
those were good
What were
videos.
some of the catchphrases in that? Why am I blanking?
He would go off on like weird slurring things about wanting to get pizza rolls and it was like name a memorable character. Like he just interviewed a bunch of people, or people would always like, what's one memorable line from the Phantom Menace, or what's kind of thing, and then people would be like kind of like it was generally how they're like, there's no heart to these stories, they're all just
right.
Yeah.
And
each one's like over an hour long, I think.
Is that the same crew that was like the ATST?
Yes.
That's the same guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Rosina, thank you so much for the super chat. Writes, are chainsaws vibrational frequencies?
I mean,
also, Art's Throat's vibrational frequencies are making it hard to enter tonight's sponsor easily. Oh,
well, that's it. Well, I'd kind of hoped it was ours, but I appreciate that it's Art Bell.
He would have had to have some blend of, obviously lots of people would have fallen asleep to Art's voice, because
I have more than once.
That's just the way that goes. But that wouldn't be the desire. That wouldn't be the goal of the show, to put people to sleep, because you want them to stay up to. Maybe that's how they racked up all their amazing numbers of how many people were listening.
Radio's on.
Yeah, we got 12 million people are, their radios are on, tuned to the show, and
you think too, like, I wonder how it must have been like, because with broadcast radio, like broadcast TV, you're like, how many people are listening right now? I don't know. We're just broadcasting from this tower. Maybe one radio's tuned into the station. Maybe 100,000 are. There's literally no way to know, other than like calling people in the next day and being like, hey, did you listen to the radio last night? What did you listen to?
Right. Well, that was back in the day when they had the Nielsen rating system, right? Which was basically.
But I don't. Did they have it for radio? That was only.
They must have had something similar.
Yeah.
I mean, and what it was there would be a sample. They would figure out a statistically relevant sample size would be to extrapolate, and then they would put like devices into people's homes.
I can't remember what sitcom it was. It was like an 80. Oh man, all I remember is there's an episode where one of the characters becomes a Nielsen household. So they have like the device.
Yeah, what was that? I remember.
And they're like incredibly stressed because they're like, if I watch this show and not this one, will Dallas be taken off the air? Well, what happened? Because it's like every Nielsen household represents 1 million viewers or whatever, right? Like so they'd be like sitting on the couch just sweating, watching TV all the time. Yeah, trying to do the huge moral weight. But I can't remember. Was it Seinfeld? I don't think it was Seinfeld. But it was kind of something like that.
Yeah,
Friends, maybe that kind of feels.
Maybe someone in the chat can figure it out. My first Google search here didn't
bring it up
with it. But anyway, we're old.
Yeah.
That's the name we're using.
An obvious question is, with even a fraction of this going on, who in their right minds would stay?
The Gorman
family. Did I not just ask?
Yeah, that's right. Who would stay?
It lasted 18 months on that property. I mean, they purchased the place in 1994. It had been abandoned for many, many years. They brought their cattle, and then all hell broke loose. Within 15 to 18 months, they lost up to 18 of their herd of 80 animals. These were high-end registered animals. So not only did they lose their livelihood, but they were constantly assaulted by these weird phenomena: flying objects, discarnate voices, bizarre animals, poltergeist activity.
Colum, when did Nid first learn of what was going on at this ranch?
In May of 1996.
So Chad is saying
there's definitely bingo things that people could be ticking off here now. I haven't seen one, but
We're getting a lot of random answers. We're getting Roseanne.
Yeah, people, Family Guy.
Night
People are
Court.
just throwing out. You're just
I think,
guessing.
yeah, I
It
think
was
people
like-
are guessing.
Yeah, I could see Night Court sounds right. Actually, that's the right era.
But they never went home. Did they ever go home with Night Court to the characters' houses?
No,
and
you're
stuff?
right. They didn't. Or did they just talk about? Yeah. See,
I don't know.
there you go.
Tom Gorman had, at that stage, had reached, and the family especially, had reached the stage of crisis where they were basically sleeping on the floor together in the small homestead for protection. And he began to reach out, started talking to people in the neighborhood. Word began to filter out. Somebody from the press found out, and then Robert Bigelow found out through that.
And
Robert Bigelow flew up to Vernal, interviewed Tom Gorman, and within weeks it was decided the Gormans would move off the property. The National Institute for Discovery Science, Bob Bigelow's organization, formed with mainstream scientists, studied anomalies, but moved onto the property very fast, summer to fall of 1996.
can either one of you, and I know both of you are very close to Bob, can you tell me what motivates Bob, what makes Bob tick? Why? The man is incredible. Not only has he led investigations like this one, but now he's going to space. I mean, this is not your average guy. What motivates Bob?
His family has a history of experiences and an interest in paranormal activity. When Bob got into a position where he had all the resources he would ever need, he decided he was going to put some of those resources into resolving some of these mysteries, and he has. I would.
So he's early Elon Musk.
Absolutely,
Mm.
but cooler because he's researching
only
mutilated
if-
cows.
Only if the mystery that Elon is solving is how do I take highly successful social media companies
Yeah.
and drive them into the ground?
How do I build the world's shittiest truck? Oh, I know.
Forbes today had a story about Twitter X that the revenue's down 86%
On X.
on
Slash-
X, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and partially because Elon is constantly having press conferences where he's also threatening to sue people who don't advertise on the channel on the platform. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that. I missed that one.
They're trying to file some kind of reverse class action lawsuit against people who aren't buying their stuff. It'd be like if McDonald's could sue people who don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Anyway, he also still anyway. Yeah, my friend of mine was wrote 86% seems like a lot. Is 86% a lot? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Revenues are
that's a
down.
lot.
What do we get?
Yeah.
We got
Let's
some.
think of your paycheck. Now
Mm,
imagine 86% of that is gone.
that's right. Yeah.
How would you feel?
Mm,
Bad,
Yeah.
probably. I figure. So it's been pointed out. Art says, "What makes Bob tick?" I think that's Art uses a folksy expression. What do you? What
I
do you
would
think,
say
Bob?
so. I think
There you
so.
go. See?
Also, I don't
Now
know
we
who
have-
Bob is.
Bob Bigelow. I don't know anything about this Bob Bigelow,
Hmm.
but apparently he's a big deal within.
Um.
One of us should maybe actually do research on UFOlogy or something at some point.
Maybe.
But neither of us will. Let's.
Bob
I
Bigelow.
tangentially-
So that's not the same as Deuce Bigelow, which was a different
No.
thing.
And the National Institute for Scientific Discovery, is that what they said?
Can this must be the right one? Can Robert Bigelow survive death? That sounds like somebody who
Can if he
Art Bell would
sleeps.
associate with.
The National Institute for Discovery Science. That's his.
Now, if we found out that the
Yeah.
way he is escaping death
He was a
is
real
by-
estate developer, Paul.
is by using sleep every once in a while, like you were suggesting.
He owns Budget Suites of America and is the founder of Bigelow Aerospace, which I've never heard of.
There you go.
Budget Suites I've definitely heard of. Yeah.
We have some super chats, Dave.
We do have some super chats.
We have the first one here from Scuzzbopper.
Scuzz Bopper.
Have you all seen Star Wars: The Third Graders? The
That's not what
Backstroke
it
of the
says.
West. What?
Have you all seen Star Wars?
that's
The
r-
Third Gathers?
Gathers. Yeah. Nice.
Good try.
Yeah.
The Backstroke of the West. No, I've never even heard of that.
That doesn't sound like something I should even Google on the air.
I mean, I feel like you should.
I have not heard of that one. And
What?
so Scuzzbopper, is that something that?
What's so awesome about monetization, Paul? Google it. Put it on YouTube.
Well, if you lose sometimes you can lose the channel though. That's not as fun.
Ah, whatever.
Yeah.
Elon's got your back. He's got his own different YouTube he's launching that won't.
Now this wouldn't have. So Rosina has an answer. Now this wouldn't have
Yeah.
been the one I was thinking of because I'm not a Family Guy watcher. But they say in Family Guy, Peter stole a bunch of Nelson boxes and controlled all of TV in episode ratings guy. That sounds like a great premise.
That does sound a good premise, but that is definitely not the one that we are thinking of.
No.
The
ones we're thinking of would have been like
it was live action,
all in the Family era, or WKRP or Light Court would have been.
And it was a single person who was just like incredibly stressed because of it was too racked about what.
Maybe it was The Simpsons. I don't know. That sounds like something Homer would be stressed about.
Yeah, but I feel like this was live action. It was like a real.
All right, fair enough.
Now I'm gonna see. Okay, but anyways. Oh,
Scuzzbopper says, "Oh, a mistranslated fan dub of episode 3. What was the name of the fan?
Oh, that
dub?
might actually be really good.
What was the name of the fan dub that we used to watch over and over before the internet?
I wish I could have. Again, I had it on VHS and the tape finally died. It was. Oh man, because C-3PO wanted to be a show's tune singer, and
that's something we need to figure out if one of us has a copy somewhere.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, someone made this was pre 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was before, way before YouTube, someone had made an awesome fan overdub of
A New Hope. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Was it A Newfangled Hope?
Newfangled Hope was what it was called. I hope
Newfangled Hope. Yeah.
I hope that got preserved somewhere.
Wager to say that he's put more financial support into paranormal UFO type research than any person ever in the history of the world. He's a complicated guy, obviously. One of the criticisms we've had about the book and about what NIDS was doing up at the ranch is that this must be some sort of a plot by Bob Bigelow to drum up support for some UFO paranormal hotel that he's going to build up there. I don't think people have any idea about just how big Bob Bigelow is and how.
I feel like UFO paranormal hotel. You got to pick a lane. Come on, you can.
Yes,
it's either a paranormal hotel or UFO hotel.
Yeah, those. I mean, they don't get along. Those
no,
groups.
They don't.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to. Let me tell you, you don't want an alien ghost on your ass.
Yes.
How insignificant that would be to him. It's ridiculous.
And the other aspect is somebody who in 1998 began to ruminate on space. Not only did he create something, but he made it happen. How many people own their own private space station that is currently orbiting planet Earth? And that has gone from dream to reality in only 7 years. He's built an aerospace company from nothing, launched space station in 7 years. That's a testimony to his vision and ability to make things happen.
I got a very good look at the second satellite about to be launched. It's getting bigger and bigger. Bob Bigelow is a very complicated man, and I don't fully understand what drives him, but thank God he's there.
Absolutely.
Well, with regard to the ranch, I know some of the history, but there's an awful lot of new audience out there, and I know they would just love hearing some of the documented on-video things that occurred on that ranch.
On video. Here you go, Paul. Stuff that's on video. So...
Oh, from the Skinwalker Ranch.
This should silence your skepticism.
I was still excited about Newfangled Hope, but I guess we're moving on from that. That's not what's on. If Art has a copy of Newfangled Hope on video, anyway.
What, aliens don't have ghosts? Of course they do, Timothy Harmon. That's where Thetans come from.
Do aliens have souls?
Yeah, Thetans. Yeah. They're Thetans. Throw them into volcanoes, and their souls become ghosts, and then you need e-meters to do stuff.
Fair enough.
Science.
We have a new member, Olivia Williams.
Oh, Olivia!
Welcome, Olivia.
Hello, Olivia. Welcome back. Olivia's been on our super chats before.
And we have Dome O.
Ooh,
Domo.
yes.
Hey, Dave. Have you
Hi,
ever
Donald.
called into the Art Bell show? I was listening to some episodes and thought I heard your voice.
Sadly, no. I never called into the Art Bell show because I always figured I would never actually get through. So I didn't. I didn't even try. We have
Though,
there are people who do watch this stream from time to time that have called in. I feel like was Roger Wenzel maybe had and talked about somebody has talked about it in chat the time they called into Art Bell, but no, not me. Not me. Also,
and
I was a wee lad then, and my voice
yeah.
did not sound as deep and melodic as it does now. It didn't yet have a lifetime of abuse.
Also, yeah, that would have been a situation where like you'd been concerned about. That was back when we were concerned about like long distance charges and the
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think there was he had 1-800 numbers or toll-free numbers, but I don't think he had international toll-free numbers. So that would have been an international call where you're on hold for like a half hour. It would have been a
I remember
fucking
considering it, and that
$70
was the
phone call.
deciding
Yeah.
factor. Was that like this was going to be a long distance call, and who knows how long you're going to be on hold.
Yeah.
You might be on hold for an hour before you get on. Although,
Yeah.
in retrospect, now listening back, it sounds like maybe there wasn't much of a line. Like maybe everybody got on.
I don't know. It's hard. I
Yeah,
guess
it's tough to tell.
maybe we're Mandela affecting this or whatever. Yeah. Boy, the super
Uh,
chats are just
yeah, we had Philistine.
which is a clever name.
I love it. Yeah. Hey, gents. Not that it's a name drop, but one of my high school friends was an editor on the Star Wars prequels. He's still doing Marvel stuff. Cool. Coolest pics of the kids on set. Anyway, here's a toast. So now, Philistine, if you're willing to say your friend's name,
Yeah, if you actually want to turn it into name drop, then Paul very well might know your friend.
I would be curious to know and what kind of editor, because we didn't have many sound or video editors. Chances are, but if they're working for Marvel now, that means they made a shift,
Probably.
or perhaps they were an editor at like Dark Horse in the prequels at the time. Maybe that's what you mean. Pete Janes would have been definitely the lead editor over there at Dark Horse at the time. I think I shouldn't probably name drop people randomly either, but yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Philistine, that's pretty cool. Either way, thanks for the toast. We appreciate your.
I mean, I also had a friend that worked on Star Wars, so
yeah, it's true. You did, yeah.
Also, Paul worked on Star Wars.
Got you on the ranch that time.
Yeah. I still got a mug.
It's
upstairs. I could go grab it.
Yeah, that's why I should have had my. We're doing Skinwalker Ranch. I should have had Skywalker Ranch stuff.
I would have my Skywalker Ranch mug and your Skywalker Ranch. I could have stuck a little post-it note on it. That implies a level of forethought that toast to toast does not embrace.
No, Paul. We don't do that.
That ain't what we do here.
In the Roseanne episode, Couch Potatoes, they were chosen to be a Nelson family and stressed over only watching educational content. That maybe was. Maybe that's what it was.
Because that does sound like that was definitely the idea of it. They were all stressed about what to watch, and
I never really watched the Roseanne show, but I may have been just generally aware that's possible.
Yeah.
Was that all the?
Oh no, that is not.
We have Jay Victor.
Candy Black is disappointed in me. Sorry, Candy. Jay Victor, can I read this one? I want to read one.
Please.
The modern Nielsen ratings measurement is done using a ppm, which is how you measure pollution in water. Portable people meter. Oh, no, it's something different. That listens to hidden inaudible tones in the broadcast. How there are no conspiracy theories about it is beyond me. Huh. So I'm trying to understand how that works. Okay, so you have hidden tones, like I get that, and it picks up. Oh, wait. So like in the broadcast, but does it do the tones reflect back?
Oh, so I'm guessing it's something in your house like an Alexa.
Oh, okay. So you get this, and it's like it brought whenever so whatever in whatever UHF or VHF some
Right.
frequency can't hear or go. But it's like when it hears this, it sends out a ping, ping, ping,
Maybe.
ping. You know, you're watching this show, so it's like 3 short, 1 long. You're watching this
So
show.
then
and
if you're watching some kind of content you don't want to encourage, you just turn it off and put the captions on. just don't listen to it.
well, they probably thought of that, Paul.
Mm. Can we
Yeah.
see?
I can. Skinwalker right there.
Yeah.
Big fan of the History Channel.
This is the closest. This is the only thing I had directly on hand with the.
This is something Paul doesn't want everybody on his YouTube channel to know, but he has a complete box set of every episode of Ancient Aliens. He's big, true believer. That's his. When we saw the first time we saw Prometheus, he thought it was a documentary. It's a little sad.
Yeah, so I have a box sets, but I have no DVD nor Blu-ray players of any kind. It's just I just like to have him.
I bought a well, there's definitely Blu-ray players in your house. Does somebody owns a console? PlayStation or an Xbox? No?
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
Which is
but no, because we have now the disc-free PlayStation.
This one, the Xbox, which the Xbox X or the PlayStation.
We have no Xboxes, just PlayStation.
I bought a Blu-ray within the last 2 weeks. I got it. The first one I bought in I don't know how many years. The special edition steel case, super fancy case, just released September 5th with a bunch of bonus features. Can you guess what movie it was, Paul? You never will, but it'll be fun for you to. It came out in 1996. I'll give you that.
96. Demolition Man.
Ooh, you're in the right wheelhouse a little bit. It was Hackers.
Oh,
yeah,
Hackers.
Angelina Jolie's debut. Matthew Lillard. It's such a. I watched it. I'm like, yeah, this movie's still horrible, horrible trash. As somebody who works in IT and security, it's like there's just so much utter bullshit in this movie, and it's glorious. Yeah. Penn Jillette's in that movie for some reason.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. He's like the assistant to the evil hacker guy. Yep. Has like 3 lines.
I forgot to add it. LOL. Todd Bush. I know he worked on the ranch for a while. I do know who that is. Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Him and Paul had a big fight.
Big
Todd
fight.
Won.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Tell Todd hello, I suppose, if you're still ever in touch. But that would have been a shift for sure then now to be at Marvel. Unless you mean Marvel Studios like the movie studio, which is possible, I suppose.
It is possible. Which
I just assumed it was in the comic area, but
Oh, apparently
I've heard. I don't know firsthand, but I've heard that Marvel, there's some now they make movies sometimes.
I mean, are you talking about Dolph Lundgren's Punisher? Because that's a good movie.
Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. Yes. I'm thinking specifically of Nick Cage Ghost Rider.
Oh, good movie. You know what I learned the other week that I never knew, and it's too bad because this would have been a really good fun fact to do in a fractal video.
Oh yeah, okay.
So Marvel got the rights to the Incredible Hulk back from, I want to say, was it Universal that had them and did like the Ed Norton movies and the whatever.
Oh, well, that's not quite correct, but carry on.
But if they make an Incredible Hulk movie, they have to give a sizable percentage of the proceeds to Universal.
No, that is not how I understand it. But
that's the
okay.
thing I have. It's like basically it's like, so they have the rights to the character, like they can use the Hulk in Avengers and things. But if there's ever a Hulk project that is like, this is the Incredible Hulk movie, we have to just give you a bunch of money for it. And so we're never going to do that.
My understanding is that Universal owns and will not give up distribution rights for Hulk films.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. Yes, you're right.
They never actually had the rights to do it, but what they have in perpetuity is the distribution rights. So they would have to they would have to let Universal distribute it, which would in effect give them a chunk of money, but it's not like a fee or whatever. It would scale to it, so Disney, of course, is a
Yeah,
distributor, and they
yeah,
don't want to give up their cut. So
yeah.
if there will be no movies called
The
Hulk
Incredible Hulk, or where the Incredible
anymore.
Hulk is the main character and he's just doing a Hulk story. Yeah,
I think actually there's some
it's probably
there's
some
some
legal gray
dispute about
area.
whether, like, perhaps they could even get away with, like, the Hulk is in 80% of the film,
But it would
but
probably
it'd be
end up being
called
a
something
fight.
else, right?
Yeah.
Um, for example,
Phil,
like Red Hulk is in, obviously in the upcoming.
the Red Hulk's that's a different kettle of fish potentially. Philistine has said, Paul, yes, he worked
Oh.
on Guardians and some James Gunn stuff like Peacemaker.
Oh, very
So,
good.
there you go. So Todd's apparently doing all right. If you're working
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Guardians and Peacemaker, you're doing fine. Both of those are freaking awesome.
Yes. Well, maybe this
I'm
is
very
maybe
excited
we do
about
need
Peacemaker
to
season 2.
maybe we need to add some things to the bingo card.
All right, this is degraded into Baimon Sci-Fi Con.
Yeah, off we go.
The real beginning happened shortly
Oh shoot! So I actually changed my media player to see if I could avoid this this whole staticky thing,
after.
We were doing so good.
but it didn't.
There should be, Shannon. There absolutely should be, although it's essentially another free square. Is there a bingo square that says spend 10 to 15 minutes talking about nerd shit instead of the stream topic? And
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to restart this.
George Knapp and Colum Kelleher, welcome to...
Hey, Art, how you doing?
George,
Shortly after we bought property.
Okay, well, this new media player is making it worse.
Well, I guess we need to keep talking about more nerd shit. Tell me, Shannon, are you drinking in chat at least? Because that will really help my bingo card out if you do. In that it will give me 1 square. Just, thumbs up in chat.
Oh, I know what I didn't do was look at the timestamp. Can't be that far in.
Also, Shannon, I need to talk to you about hot sauce here one of these days. In that, I'm going to be ordering a bunch. I'm going to see if you want to get in on some of that action.
Was mutilated on the property. The dogs were going crazy the following night.
going to space. I mean, this is not your average guy. What motivates Bob?
His family has a history of experiences and an interest in paranormal activity. When Bob got into a position where he had all the resources he would ever need, he decided he was going to put some of those resources into resolving some of these mysteries.
Olivia Williams, you can drink anything: water, tea, milk. Just have a drink, and you get that
for our toasting.
Yeah. Well, for the free space where it says have a drink. And it's like, well, I don't drink. It's like, you don't have to. That's just have a drink. Any liquid in your mouth, swallow it. Boom. You just checked off free space. Congratulations.
Cat feathers, I used to. So back in the late 90s, early aughts.
Back in 1999.
I knew the folks at Dark Horse well because we worked very vigorously to promote their material. Lucasfilm actually wasn't big on promoting their book and comic licensees before I got there. That was something that I kind of turned around. So they appreciated me.
I don't have a bottle of the edge of my desk.
But then when I left and started my own comic book company, then there was a bit of a rival. It actually created some hard feelings and some rivalry situations. So there was that.
And to be fair, they put out a lot of really shitty comics there for a while.
It's true.
A lot of them had some really great Dave Dorman covers, but
oh boy,
then you get past that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about Red 5. I'm talking about Dark Horse. I'm not talking about that. I mean, that's a whole other thing, but
that's a whole different thing. But cheers.
But
I would wager to say that he's put more financial support into paranormal UFO type research than any person ever in the history of the world. He's a
Suck it, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Elon's not putting any money into paranormal research, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. I did see something that made me laugh this week. So I was reading a bunch of comments on Paul's YouTube videos for reasons that will become known in a future show. Spoilers. One of the ones I read was, "Oh, Paul, I've been a fan of yours and I didn't realize it. You had mentioned, you'd obviously mentioned Neozoic in the video."
Okay.
So he's like, "Oh, Neozoic." He's like, "I love Red 5 comic. Like, you're one of my favorite comic authors. Atomic Robo is the greatest comic ever written." And I just wanted to be like, yeah. It's like going, "Oh, George Lucas, I love your show. Spock's fucking fantastic." I love it. And he's like, "Okay, thank you. Thanks. That's great."
It's a little different than that, because I mean,
you were involved somewhat. It wasn't like it was a competition to your.
it was I paid for Atomic Robo to exist for a long time.
You owned the company that published Atomic Robo, but you had no input on the creation of Atomic Robo.
No.
You were not the writer or artist of Atomic Robo. Who's a really nice guy.
Yeah, that'd be like, "Hey, Mark Zuckerberg, I really like how you invented Instagram." It's like, "Oh, well, I didn't do that.
I didn't invent Instagram.
I bought it, but
yeah. But keep using it because it makes me money every time.
Right,
you do.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Complicated guy, obviously. One of the criticisms we've had about the book and about what Nids was doing up at the ranch is that this must be some sort of a plot by Bob Bigelow to drum up support for some UFO paranormal hotel that he's going to build up there. I don't think people have any idea about just how big Bob Bigelow is and how insignificant that would be to him. It's ridiculous.
And the other aspect is somebody who in 1998 began to ruminate on space. Not only did he create something, but he made it happen. How many people own their own private space station that is currently orbiting planet Earth? And that has gone from dream to reality in only 7 years. He's built an aerospace company from nothing, launched space station in 7 years. That's a testimony to his vision and ability to make things happen.
I got a very good look at the second satellite about to be launched. It's getting bigger and bigger. Bob Bigelow is a very complicated man, and I don't fully understand what drives him, but thank God he's there.
Absolutely.
Well, with regard to the ranch, I know some.
I keep wanting to make Deuce Bigelow jokes, but I hate Rob Schneider now. So
yeah, I was never a huge fan. So this is his current outlook isn't really.
So I just have to keep. I'll just swallow them.
Yeah.
Of the history, but there's an awful lot of new audience out there, and I know they would just love hearing some of the documented on video things that occurred on that ranch.
Colum?
The real beginning happened shortly after we bought property in mid to late 96. The first real burst of activity occurred within about 5 months. I think the most spectacular was the calf incident George described. That was part of a 5 or 6 day continuum of almost continuous happenings. Less than 24 hours after that calf was found mutilated on the property, the dogs were going crazy. The following night, myself, Tom Gorman, and another scientist up there decided to investigate. So we hopped into this truck and started going out into the middle of the pasture. First thing that the bouncing headlights caught was this large, dark shape about 100 yards away on the fence line. The bouncing headlights picked up two bright yellow orbs about 15 to 20 feet off the ground. Very large animal perched in the tree. All three of us saw it and could think of nothing else except that calf that had been dismembered essentially about 24 hours previously. So we trucked on to about 40 yards from where the tree line was. The closer we got, the larger this animal got in the tree. It was just staring back with these large yellow saucer eyes.
Nice.
Tom Gorman got out of the truck, and he's a trained marksman, grabbed his hunting rifle. He said, "They're not going to get any more of these cattle tonight." He ripped off a shot, and instantly the lights went out. These two yellow orbs.
And he shot a Bigfoot. Oh, Brain Crab's on the same wave as me. Like this me. There you go. Yep.
Appeared. Tom was triumphant. He had shot the animal. He claimed that it had fallen to the ground. We instantly got back into the truck and went with the...
It's funny, this guy's bopper with this might be the Mothman, because that's what we almost did Mothman tonight.
We did. And I would like to do a Mothman episode, but boy, that
one was dry. We needed to find a spicier subject.
Did you ever watch
And
that?
find what-
Was it Richard Gere did the Mothman prophecies?
Yes,
that
I did.
movie?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
the animal had fallen. This was 1 a.m. in the morning, basically. We had flashlights, we had video cameras, so we spread out along the fence line to search for this wounded animal. Then Tom started yelling about 20 yards to my left, said there was a huge animal, the dark shape we had seen on approach, separate from the animal in the tree. Tom let off a couple more shots into the undergrowth. He said he had shot a large bear-like creature, looked more like a large dog, 400 to 500 pounds. We were crashing through the undergrowth at 1 a.m., trying to find these wounded animals or dead animals, not knowing when, something would leap out of the undergrowth at us.
Yeah.
So to cut a long story short, there was snow all over the ground. We looked for tracked animals we were sure had been hit. We found 2 tracks reminiscent of large raptor claws, very large claws deep in the snow, but nothing else. No blood or dead animals. 400-pound animals vanish into the ethers. Having been shot at very close range by a trained marksman was our introduction to what we termed in the book Hunt for the Skinwalker. It was like chasing phantoms causing serious damage, and at the next minute they would just vanish into thin air. And
More like skin strippers. It sounds like, my God, raptors. That calls to mind something truly.
That reminds me of. Never mind. Back to the science. The science.
Break right.
The science.
I said science.
So, if I'm reading this right, or if I'm connecting the dots here,
yeah,
there's been a legend of skinwalkers that predates all of this by century, like it's a First Nations type,
predates European
settlement of North America.
Yes.
And those legends were roughly something along the lines of that something would come along and like skin an animal, essentially.
Yeah. Or people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think the skinwalkers refers to like they will wear people's skin to look like people.
Oh, so these are potentially non-human creatures that are,
or some kind of
or spirits,
witch or spirit or something. Yes, it's magic, Paul, but like real magic.
So kind of like
so I'm just gonna go ahead.
D'Onofrio's character in Men in Black, kind of a situation.
Yeah, just like that.
It's funny to think that Kingpin and that character in Men in Black
are the same,
and also he was in one of those legal shows for like a long time, wasn't he?
Yep. One of the Law and Order spinoffs.
Oh, was it? Okay, sure, yeah,
right? SVU, maybe. Yeah.
He's quite a career. Excellent actor, always. Yep.
Yes.
Dear Colum and George.
A lot of the shows you see him, and then like you sort of see how big he actually is. And it's like, holy crap! That like until Kingpin and stuff, like a lot of shows they didn't really show him. Like you watch like Law and Order, you would not guess that this guy is.
Oh, you mean like physically imposing?
Yeah, like he's like 6'6" and just like he's a huge guy.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you see him at the pictures of him at the D23?
No.
You know what D23 is, right? The whole Disney, the Disney Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They brought the cast of Daredevil, whatever the new show is called, Born Again, I think. Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was back to being very skinny on stage. So, I think, it's always one of those things. I'm guessing he's unhealthy. Well, I'm sure they're doing something about it, but like he's, for roles when actors always like gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight, it's always, a little bit concerning, but shows dedication to the craft for sure.
I guess. Yeah.
because he's big in the Daredevil show. They showed a couple clips. Anyway, blah blah
I
blah.
mean, I have high hopes, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
You shouldn't. You keep them.
Yeah.
So I think
Because
what
I
you can.
love the Netflix Daredevil so much, but it's just like I just don't think Disney's I don't think it's in their DNA to do that kind of thing.
So if you feel like it after this, look up the D23 footage. The D23 footage, at least, just as the Daredevil movie, not the Daredevil, the Deadpool movie,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like carried on the continuity of tone from the first two films.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh,
they're.
Webb says he wears like basically a fat suit for
Oh,
the
does he?
Daredevil.
Gotcha.
Clothing effect, which is good. If that's true, that's good. It's good. I have seen the new Deadpool Wolverine movie. I saw it opening weekend. I was right there.
The footage from D23
That's a statistical
sure
outlier.
seems like it's going to be a continuity of tone, at least from the Netflix series, which is good.
Which is good. That's what I want.
Because I did not love the Daredevil appearances in either. Certainly not in She-Hulk,
No, it
and
was
I didn't even love his appearance in the Spider-Man film. Even that was a little bit
yeah.
silly. So
That was kind of, but there was like almost a cameo.
yeah, it was fine because I mean the funny I'm a very good lawyer line was kind of funny. It was good, but not
Well,
completely Matt Murdock tone.
Shannon, I've got good news for you because do you know what Nikola Tesla was famous for? Paul.
Creating
Besides
Atomic Robo.
besides his innovations in AC, alternating current electricity, which he is justifiably famous for, he was very famous for his multitude of research into what? Vibrational frequencies. That is a true fact. Google it. Look it up, kids.
True fact that is true.
The true fact that is true, which is my least favorite kind of fact, but still. So I feel like, Shannon, you can just go ahead and tick off Nikola Tesla. We've essentially been talking about him with cow mutilations.
We'll be right back. Colum
While the
Kelleher,
ogre doesn't
George
want to have
Knapp,
fun.
both
I
my
don't
guests.
know.
This
Hard to
is
say.
Coast to Coast AM. Colum has the remainder of this hour with us, so we'll kind of bore in on Colum. There was a incident that occurred at the ranch that I'd love to have him repeat because it caught my imagination. It involved somebody at the ranch with night vision seeing something crawl through a hole that's appeared in midair. Bob Bigelow is a complex man, and the American people should understand what he's doing for them. That said,
Was that like a cut for a commercial? It feels like that was.
They did it. Yeah, it was a commercial cut. It absolutely was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There was an incident, wasn't there, in which something was seen to open up. Can you describe that?
Yeah, that I think the incident happened in August of '97. That summer, all hell broke loose on the ranch for NIDS people. Every time NIDS people were on the ranch, there was stuff happening. It was about 2 a.m. when we had two observers on this ridge, which overlooked small pasture. The pasture had been a sort of an epicenter of strange happenings. They were staking it out. It was 2 a.m. It was getting late. Nothing had happened. So they were beginning to pack up their equipment when one of them noticed this small, dull yellow light that began to appear on the ground about 200 feet below them, close to the ground. As they watched it, they could see, it was strange. It was getting bigger and bigger. It looked like it was just growing, located about 3 feet off the ground. So they thought, well, might as well unpack the equipment again and take a look at this. So one of the things that NIDS had state-of-the-art equipment, including night vision equipment and then equipment to measure alpha beta.
State-of-the-art.
Night vision. I used night vision goggles in the friggin' 90s, and I was just some kid. They had some at the university. It wasn't anyways. Chat's more entertaining than the show is.
J. Victor says Nikola Tesla was famous for making a cloning machine for Wolverine's stage magic act.
That is true. I saw that in a documentary.
Yeah. I wonder if there was a so there was a
Curious Nerd Kid made me laugh.
There was a Greatest Showman Deadpool variant. I don't know if you saw that.
Nope.
So in the new Deadpool film,
Yep.
Spoilers.
I,
But
I never I never saw The Greatest Showman, so I might have. That's probably why I didn't catch
which
it.
was obviously a nod to
Yeah.
to Hugh
Like
Jackman.
yeah. Yeah.
And I'm also told that the Jean Valjean number 24689, what's the number?
2 4 something 9. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently that number is etched on the Wolverine bones at the start, so that's kind of.
Deadpool in the movie costume from The Greatest Showman. Yes.
Yes. Anyway,
Yes. Yeah.
now it made me just wonder if there was perhaps a there probably wasn't was it The Mystique? Was that the name of the film that they're talking about? The Prestige.
No, The
The
Prestige.
Prestige. The Prestige.
Yeah. Mystique is
Yeah.
a shapeshifter in X-Men.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Prestige.
Gamma.
Oh, 24601. Yes, obviously.
24601. Yeah. 601.
Yeah.
Name it, X-ray equipment. They unpacked the equipment. One guy grabbed night vision binoculars. The other grabbed a camera with infrared film in it. And the guy looking through the night vision equipment started describing a three-dimensional, rather than a dull yellow light, this actually was a three-dimensional, brightly lit tunnel. And he started describing at the far end of this tunnel that looked like there was movement happening. And the other guy was watching this large, about 4 foot in diameter, dull yellow light. He noticed movement at the end of the tunnel and discerned the humanoid shape crawling towards him through this tunnel of light. This creature became clearer as it got towards the mouth of the tunnel. It looked like a large humanoid creature that was entirely black, no features in the face. It was just like a black shadow, heavily muscled, and the creature was literally elbowing and maneuvering along this tunnel of light. And finally, it reached the mouth of the tunnel, struggled onto the ground, stood up, and then vanished into the night.
Wow.
Now, in the meanwhile, the guy who had the camera was taking these long exposure infrared film shots. But immediately after this creature stood up from the mouth of the tunnel and vanished into the night, the diameter...
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Move on. It's fine.
No. This was back in the 90s when we didn't understand.
Yeah.
We thought
We didn't understand what light or dimensions
No,
were.
we just thought that the night was a curtain in the sky and that there were holes. There were holes punched in the curtain, back
Gods
in.
punch holes in the curtain.
That's right. We're back in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the early 2000s that we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the late 2000s, Paul. It wasn't until 2010, 2011 with the launch of the Hubble. The real Hubble, not the fake one that we saw that space is actually three-dimensional.
I mean, this isn't,
but space.
This was back in the days where like The Office was, just barely started.
Yeah.
Actually, no, this is probably before that. This has been when the British Office was on. This is 97.
No, this was 2007.
Oh, 2007. No, but they're talking about events happening in 97.
In 97. Yes, yeah.
So this
British Office
this
was also
just when George started monkeying with Star Wars again. in my parlance. This is when the special editions came out.
I was gonna say I'm pretty sure British Office is 2000 early 2000s. I have the box set upstairs somewhere I can go look for it. But
yeah.
I feel like it was not 90s. The Ricky Gervais was it's the thing. Have you ever watched it, the British Office?
I saw it before I ever saw the American version.
Yeah. I try to I feel like we probably watched it together and
we probably did. Yeah.
Onto it.
It
would have been Trevor. Seems like something.
I was mentioning this to Jen, but the people I was hanging out with at the time, we were I just don't want to keep referencing where I was working, but yeah, the BBC shows were all the rage. Partially because Netflix was just starting, the kind of Netflix where you get mailed DVDs.
Yes. Yeah.
And suddenly one of the things was all these British shows were starting to, basically seasons of them were coming out on DVD and getting passed around by our office. blah, blah, blah.
Of the light started to shrink, and within minutes it was gone. Immediately it was gone. The first thing these guys thought was, this thing is coming up the ridge right after us. They were listening for maybe 15 minutes. They didn't hear anything. Eventually got the equipment and clambered down the 200-foot cliff to where the incident had happened. The first thing obvious was a very strong smell of sulfur in the air. The other thing, no tracks.
Of course there was. Of course. What is calling it brimstone two on the nose?
It's 2 on the nose. Beep, beep, beep.
Well, Paul, it's clear who's killing these cattle.
Satan.
Nightcrawler.
Like, ooh, that's right.
I think we all know Mr. Goody Two Shoes has a dark side. He's got a little, you know why he gets those jollies? Yeah. Mutilating cattle.
That's right.
So that's your, think about that next time you're watching X-Men 97, because you should probably watch X-Men 97 again because it's excellent.
That strong smell. They immediately activated all of this portable instrumentation. They searched for anything that might have been
right. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I don't want to interrupt this guy.
Left there in terms of residues. They checked for radiation. There was nothing visible. So after an hour of reconnoitering, they went back to the command center where 2 other researchers had been stationed further down on the ranch who hadn't seen this incident. But this was a classic incident on the Skinwalker Ranch.
This is a real operation. They got a command center. This is serious business.
Well, so if I'm understanding the chronology correctly, the first calf got skinned.
Yeah.
And then someone immediately bought the ranch.
No. Well, not immediately. I believe they said it was 18 months.
Okay.
That the family basically lasted before they lost. Was it 18 months? I thought you said 18 months.
Maybe.
And he lost, was it 20 cattle or something? Like he lost basically like a quarter of his herd.
Right.
And
these were high-end registered cattle, Dave.
Yes, just registered. Yes, that
was my first hilarious thing. It's like, yeah, I worked on not worked, but I existed on cattle farms and
I have family that ranch.
Okay. It's a registered cow. Well, all
registered cow.
Right,
yeah, that's high end. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But I will. That aside, it's like 20. That's a lot of money. 20 cows that's a significant.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
like,
yeah.
That's not a good thing. Yeah.
Especially, yeah. Back then.
But yes, this is high end registered. These aren't in the fucking Westminster cow show.
No. Can I see your cow's papers, please?
Yes.
I lost what I was going to say. Off we go.
Command centers.
Where technology that.
Oh yes, command centers. So they bought the thing.
Yes.
So they bought this thing. Then that does make sense that if you bought it to study if you want to open up your paranormal /UFO hotel.
Right. That's right. So I would be curious. So that it's obviously after this show aired. So the TV series, the secret of Skinwalker Ranch guys, if that was tied in with this Bob Bigelow person, this Robert Bigelow or somebody else, I believe it was. My understanding, and I might be totally wrong on this, I freely admit that, is that it was the success of the Secret of Oak Island show that they're like, we need more shows like this. What's the thing? And they're like, well, here's this place where people have been trying to research, like there's also decades of history and events and research, and there's been sort of like serious efforts, things done, so we can do this. And somebody bought Skinwalker Ranch, and so there's like a whole show, like you can't sort of go there anymore, much like Oak Island, because it's like no, we're filming a TV series here, and we're constantly doing experiments and trials and trying to figure out how can we sense the entities or the extra dimensional flotsam rays, blah blah blah. But I would actually now. I'm not going to do it right now, but I would be genuinely curious to like go in and see where is the through line from this Robert Bigelow guy and this thing to the TV show. Is it completely unrelated? Is it
I mean,
thing or
certainly if you if the owner didn't change, that would certainly be an amazing suddenly gift horse, right? Like it's.
You see your chat. Put the image up again, Paul. Put the image up.
Which one? This one?
No.
Oh.
The why does it look
this one?
It's pissing two-dimensional light. Oh boy. Woo.
We need we need Shannon makes Dave choke on the
mercy. Yeah.
On the card.
Oh.
Could see into the infrared was utilized. Those dull yellow lights were very common on the property. This was the first time they had been captured in the infrared. This night vision technology was very deep into the infrared, and it was pretty obvious that this activity was not visible to the human eye because the guy with the camera could only see the dull yellow light, whereas the guy with the infrared technology could see an awful lot more. Now, I personally saw...
Sorry, I would think then that you'd be using an awful lot of infrared from there on out.
Yes, around that same time, a set of surveillance cameras that could see into the infrared were installed on the property on telephone poles. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they were rolling. They were monitoring pretty well everything. There was a lot of incidents.
I'm guessing there's no single camera at this point that can record all the spectrums of light all at once right now.
I honestly don't know. What's the widest? I mean, what does all the spectrums mean?
Well, ultraviolet through to
infrared.
Infrared, right?
I imagine it would. I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm in the late 90s, probably not. But I'm wondering if now they would, because
even in the late 90s, I don't see why not.
Well, there would have been no technical limitation, but it doesn't surprise me that maybe there weren't.
Oh, that's. Well, although even with like scientific, I would doubt that.
Maybe there is. Like that's just what I'm thinking is like, why would you not be recording the entire spectrum when you're doing this kind of research all the time?
Yeah.
Just makes that just seems to me to make sense. But
I'm trying to find I'm just Googling right now to see if I can find an image of what was recorded with this infrared camera on Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm looking at pictures and none of them are. It's just like, okay, well, it's like it's a ranch. It's it's clearly an infrared camera, like it's got that thing, but there's nothing happening here in this picture. Oh well. Anyways,
a young Earth creationist filmmaker this week yelled at me for not being a scientist. So
Oh, what is this on? Is this on the YouTubes? Can I?
Yes. So,
or is it too? Are we getting a spoiler here?
No. I recently a film came out called The Ark, The Ark and the Darkness.
Okay.
I was apparently discredited because I kept describing the film as Ark in the Darkness. And he said,
okay.
How can we trust any of these scientific claims you're making if you are not calling it the actual film name, The Ark and the Darkness? I'm like, all right, buddy. Fair enough.
I mean, it's a fair criticism. Yeah, get it right.
So anyway, I put out a normally I would, in years past, I would have split it into like 10, 12 sections and done like video of the week going into deep detail. But it seems like YouTube these days is preferring longer form. So I decided I'm just gonna, I'm gonna cover the whole movie all at once, but like slightly shallower. Because I wanted to get it out the video at some point. Anyway, the the pinned comment right now, if anyone wants to go watch it after this is over, is from the actual filmmaker himself, who had quite a bit to say about how. I'm like, dude, you and I are both just filmmakers here. Like, no, neither of us are scientists.
Yeah,
But
I don't think I'm a scientist.
yeah,
I'm
that's right.
definitely
I've
not
never said
saying
I
I'm
was
a
a
scientist.
scientist.
Yeah,
You film scientists, like,
yeah.
or
I do not
scientists.
even have a bachelor's degree in
Nope.
science. Let's
Nope.
much
Nope.
less a doctorate.
But I feel like if you're talking about you think that there was
Yeah,
dinosaurs on an ark,
and
and
I mean, like,
I just am blindly accepting
when I hear the
that.
Ark of the Darkness, all I'm like is like that sounds like the Ghost of the Darkness. Why would you call it that? Because one of them is a movie about lions that killed a lot of people, starring Russell Crowe.
The
No,
darkness,
not Russell
Dave.
Crowe. Val Kilmer. Sorry, Val Kilmer. Don't get at me, chat.
Ooh, that's right. Actually, I'm not even clear what the darkness is. The sin. I think.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the incide and genocide movie. So fun incest and genocide.
Incest and genocide.
They got jealous of the whole.
Is it incest if you're the only people left on Earth?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all
With
relaxed.
what with the Game of Thrones, incest is popular these days. So
yeah, all the kids are doing it.
All the Targaryens, all the Targaryens are doing it. So
that happened that were just outside the range of those cameras. Frustrating because every time we pointed the cameras in one direction, stuff would happen off camera. It was almost like a cat and
every time, just this much off camera, Dave. It was just so unlucky. They didn't have They didn't have the 16:9 cameras we have now. They had the 4:2 cameras. Yeah.
If they'd had two cameras, that would you could point one in each direction. But that technology didn't exist in 1997. No, 2000.
You couldn't have multiple cameras.
No.
Mouse game.
I recall one incident. I believe they had cameras.
In this economy? Are you kidding me?
In this economy? Yeah, that's right.
Finally, in frustration, you had a couple of cameras pointed at each other, each on poles separated by I don't know how much distance.
That's a waste. You shouldn't have cameras pointing at each other.
No. Unless you want to make that cool video feedback effect.
That's right.
Tell me the truth. When you were like elementary school age, whatever, got your first camera to play around with, either through school or home or church or whatever, did you do the pointed at a monitor at a screen to get like the video feedback crazy?
100%, of course, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't my first ones. I had early cameras. I had cameras, before I had multiple TVs in the house. So yeah.
Oh, I definitely other way around. But I don't remember not having multiple TVs in the house.
I do.
Yeah. It was and I don't remember not having cable. Like we always had cable. Like from when I was like 4 or 5 onward.
Heathen.
Yeah.
You heathen.
I'm guessing when I lived in the Northwest Territories, we didn't, but we moved when I was like 6. So I do not have, I have clear memories, but none of the memories I have are of watching TV.
When I met you, you were a preteen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wore a lot of sweatpants.
Yeah,
around my
sure
neck.
did. Yeah.
Yep.
And at one point, I learned that your family had like Showtime or something.
Yeah. We had the full, but we had like TBS, Super Channel show. Like we had all of it. Yeah.
And I was very much judging your family. I'm like, oh, you're some of those Christians. I see. With channels and stuff.
My dad was a Christian. So my dad would have always called himself a Christian, but he so for most of my childhood, my dad did not go to church. He was Catholic, he was raised Catholic, and he would come to church with my mom and my sister and I on Easter and Christmas, or for certain special occasions. And it basically came back to the faith and was rebaptized shortly before you would have met me.
That's my understanding. That's my understanding of how that went.
But so through most of my childhood, he was like, so whatever. Like my dad took me to see like Terminator in the theaters when I was like 7. You know, like, but it was not a thing to it. You know, so like a lot of the kind of like we definitely didn't have a fundamental like traditional religious home at all. Which, so in a lot of ways, yours and mine experiences are very different.
I also remember you and I didn't go to the same church when we first met,
No,
but
No.
eventually your family did come to my church.
Yeah.
And I
To
do
my
recall that being somewhat of a culture shock for your dad.
yeah,
It's like, wait, everyone here is like
Yes,
weird like
yeah.
you guys.
How come there's only 3 different last names?
Yeah. Yeah, funny. Oh, super chat.
Super chats.
Olivia Williams, welcome, Olivia. You became a member. Now you're
Yes.
super chatting. So much step siblings things.
Yeah.
Not that's not technically incest, I guess.
I mean, well, legally it probably. I don't know. I
Sorry,
actually
I'm
don't
thinking
know.
about
I'm not
Noah.
going to comment on it because
I'm
I
thinking
actually
about
don't know.
Noah situations. I wasn't, you extrapolate that how you will, but
nope. Paul's into the traditional sense.
is there a rule
That's what he's
43 for
trying to
Noah's?
say.
Is there a rule 43 for Noah's Ark? There must be.
I guarantee it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to Google it, but
Mm,
Mhm.
I feel like we're just a step away from AI.
Yeah.
From
Sorry.
AI just auto generating every time a meme comes up. It's just like it's going to keep up much faster.
Oh, Zictomorph. That is that right there reveals volumes to anybody who knows what you're talking about. Did you
I
see
do.
Yeah. DC Talks too edgy. I had cassettes of One Bad Pig when I was
What did
growing
I
up.
say?
Oh,
Did I say
man.
rule? Did I say a different number?
You said 43.
Oh,
Yeah.
43 is different. That's life universe. Everything. Yeah, that's right. That's the answer. Life universe.
That is not
34. So that tells you, tells you my use for the
yes.
various numbers. Yeah, DC
What
Talk.
if I stumble? What if I fall?
So
What
I
if I
first saw DC Talk.
Fools of
I
a
was
soul.
in Bible college, and they came and visited my Bible college.
Mhm.
But I'd never heard of them before they showed up. Like,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
man. They were big.
Well, but this is this is earlier in their game, right? They were opening act for somebody even. Like this was.
So I had DC Talk cassettes back when they were like before they kind of got into when they were like a rap group, but it was just like the whitest rap you can imagine. You know who's doing it? Yo, who's doing it? God is doing a new thing. Yo, and it was like that. That's not my like.
Yeah,
that's a verbatim DC Talk. It was brutal. It was like somebody was making a parody of rap, but it wasn't a parody. It was brutal. It was not good. But I will say some of their music is good from a musical sense.
Zictomorph, I'm curious if you ever heard Michael W. Smith talking about how he would play secular songs in church. Sometimes he had this.
I never saw that
because he was super good at piano.
Yeah.
So sometimes he would sneak in, like, not by secular songs. I mean like the Mickey Mouse Club,
like really, or Mickey Mouse Club, or
or other song. But he would be supposed to be like playing in the church. So for church, he would like do these very elaborate versions of. Yeah, like theme songs to shows or whatever, and people would come up and you really blessed me with that song, and he would laugh and nod his head. Yeah. Cool. We Christians, we evangelicals sure had fun in the 80s and 90s.
I mean,
good times.
We sometimes did. I went on a bit of a tear this summer, Paul. I made a playlist on Spotify of like 80s and 90s Christian music.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Because there's still some I'm just like, nah, this is still a good song. Like some of the
new songs. I have some songs in my.
some White Cross stuff. So it's just like, nah, this is still good. This is a
Yeah.
good song. I'm gonna, it's fine. Yeah.
There's some Amy Grant stuff in my playlists. Yep.
Yep. What are you
We
gonna
missed
do?
some super chats here, Dave.
We have. Poor Claire.
Poor Claire.
I will
Go ahead.
handle this one, Paul.
Please
If
do.
I ever win a game, can my prize be you getting Shannon a coffee table? No. That is, if you don't already secretly have one. I can confirm, having been a guest in the Paulogia household, there is no coffee table there. And having known Paul for decades, there's no coffee table. Not there. Although you did have a coffee table in Saskatoon.
I did.
Yeah.
That was in that was before I became so bothered by clutter.
Yeah. I think crazy is the word you're looking for before you became crazy.
That's the word. That is the word. Yeah, that was correctly the word I was looking for. I didn't want to disparage other crazy people by lumping them in with me, whatever's going on here.
Whoa. We don't want to make other mentally ill people,
That's right.
sound like they're like Paul, who's crazy.
I am the standard. That's right. That's right. That's what they say.
Yeah. Psychologists, we don't like to use that word, but you're crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
anyways, unfortunately, that's like you know what? I would like to lie to you, poor Claire, and tell you that yes, that will happen as a prize, but it would be a lie.
The contest would have to be something.
It would have to be
formidable.
Yeah.
It would not be for
impossible.
the weekly trivia for sure.
There would have to be some kind of entrance fee.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And therapy payment for me and stuff.
Yeah. Paul's a capitalist. This is not an impossible thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Brain Cramp.
Yeah.
Wants to know, have you guys ever seen Letterkenny? I think
yes.
of Paul when they referenced the Mennonites once. So I have. It was only very recently that I saw my very first Letterkenny episodes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you saw Shoresy before you saw Letterkenny?
Yes, I did. I absolutely saw.
I watched Shoresy. I was like, you got to watch that show, Paul. Yeah.
And that's what made me think, well, okay, I'll give this a try. So I have not seen like all of Letterkenny, but I did see the.
Honestly, watch like the first 4 seasons, and then just you'll see as you watch. There's so many, but it's like it very much is kind of like okay.
It gets repetitive.
Yeah.
But I did see the one where you want to, the dick meat one.
Where they meet the dicks. They show up there a couple times. The dicks are in there a few times, and every time it's the same thing. Every time it's
you really want to have that dick meat in your mouth is what you want.
Yeah.
I thought that was, as a Mennonite, it was pretty funny because someone had obviously brushed against or was a former part of.
Yes,
because they
someone
wrote
was
it
very familiar with small town Mennonites.
Yeah, wrote it very well.
And
yes, certainly in my youth, I would have had people in my congregation saying those phrases unironically, not with no entendres given.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul and I both know many, many, many dicks. Yeah.
Sure.
DYCK. It's a super common name. That's just
Yep. Including someone who married into the family.
That is what made Letterkenny much like Corner Gas. Because it's like, no, legitimately, like if you have been in small town Canada ago, it's like, no. Like so much is like these are stereotypes, but they're stereotypes that are accurate. Like
that's right.
There's a guy, a girl, whatever, like this. Everybody knows somebody who is this person. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. McKellum J Money. I still love me some Rich Mullins, man. Even in my day, I never loved Rich Mullins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not yucking your yum. If you enjoy Rich Mullins, cheers to you. But that wasn't ever my. That that said, I'm not like anything. I'm David Meese and Petra. So what
Yeah, no Petra. I bet Dave plays all of the side quests. I do. I legitimately do. Yeah, there's no tangents I won't chase down forever. What were we
All
talking
right.
about? Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah,
Is that what we're doing?
Skinwalker Ranch.
Guns
Let's
was
get back
cut,
to it.
right?
Yes, that you're right. We had cameras covering the property, but one was focused on another set of cameras in July of '98. Those 3 cameras suddenly lost.
You had cameras covering the entire property. How come the cameras kept missing all the cool shit? I feel like there's an incongruity. See, Paul, I can be a skeptic too. I've discovered the cleverly hidden flaw in his
But
argument.
are you skeptical of your skepticism?
No, that's legit. Also, there's definitely 2-dimensional light demons that are eating these cattle. These guys though weren't even trying. What I'm skeptical about is they weren't seriously trying to catch them.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Paul, everybody knows if you film a skinwalker, the skinwalker will target you. Like that's essentially a death sentence. So
that makes sense. That adds up. That's why there is no footage.
But so here's the thing, poor Claire. Sorry, I'm just replying to the super chat already. I'm going to read the super chat. Are we ready, Paul?
It's on the screen.
Poor Claire, I'll never win a game anyways. Crying emoji. I believe in you, and I think you will win a game. But also, if you don't, Toast to Toast is a pay-to-win organization. We have a wonderful store. By we, I mean Paul. You don't have to wait to win one of these beautiful, useful, stylish, doesn't quite hold a pint, but still probably pretty good tumblers. You can just give Paul money and he'll send one to you. He'll just send it to you. And it's like what you get with the prize. So what you won the best prize of having, 20, I don't know how much they cost. $20, Paul? 25? How much?
Something unreasonable, I'm sure.
Something unreasonable, but less than 50. Which, in this economy, that's pretty good. You can have your own tumbler. You can be part of the tumbler club. I didn't win this. Do you think I won this? I never win shit. This is just a thing that was shipped to me. Money was involved. Don't worry about it. You absolutely, Scotty. You can buy. Anybody can buy. Somebody throw the link to Paul's store in this chat. And there's T-shirts. You can have your very own For the Bible Tells Me So T-shirt. There's mugs. My mug's upstairs. I mean, my God. There's the sites you see.
You can get Shannon saying fudge.
Shannon saying fudge, and I mean, who doesn't want that? Crazy people.
Do you know the reference on that one? You maybe don't.
I do. Yes, I do. I had to think about it for a second. I knew I'd heard the story because when it first came out, I'm like, "What the heck is this?" Yeah.
All right.
Power, and the whole focus started investigating why. And once we reached the pole and found what had happened, it was obvious that.
So, I saw Deadpool opening weekend in an absolutely packed, like sold out theater, a large sold out theater, and fuck it, whatever. I'll just dox myself. I live in Saskatoon. That is where I live, as Vishanti well knows. This out. When that line came up in the movie, the theater just absolutely lost their fucking minds, Paul. Just pandemonium. People were throwing babies. Like, if Ryan Reynolds had walked into that theater right then, he would have been the mayor. They would have been a mob marching on City Hall with torches.
The affirmation when you live in a city like Saskatoon.
Yes, yeah. Just in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Yeah.
So the last time this happened was 1979.
Yeah.
In the Muppet movie, when they shouted out to Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So for it to come up in Deadpool,
There's a Who song, the Guess Who song, right? The running back
Yeah.
to Saskatoon. Yeah.
But no, so the crowd in Nova Scotia didn't cheer as loudly, I'm sure, as you
No,
got,
'cause-
but I did. I think I let out I let out quite a
I mean
noise.
it's a funny line, no matter
Yeah.
regardless. But
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
So
it
good.
was. People went insane. Like it was just full on, like standing up, cheering, like yeah. It's like he's not actually here. This is a projected image. It's fine. Everybody calm down. They can't hear you.
Also, it's
Yeah.
just fun to say, right? So that's part
It
of why
is.
the
I mean,
line works.
that's a fun. That's going to be a line here. Yeah.
On my personal Facebook, I just put up that very line that's on screen right now, and I had a lot of confused people
I suspect. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm Facebook friends with a lot of people from that town who probably didn't ever see Deadpool. So
Hey, what? It's not a town. We're a city. Relax. All right, everybody. Is damn near 500,000 people here.
anyway, enough
Damn
on
near.
that. For those of you who didn't see the film, that's just a throwaway line in the new Deadpool.
That is a
film.
throwaway line. No spoilers. That's fine. That's not a spoiler at all.
No, it's
yeah. It literally has
Something-
nothing to do with anything that's happening on screen at that moment.
no, it's just
Ryan Reynolds.
It's just a quip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had ripped the wiring out of all the cameras on that pole. There was duct tape layers binding the wiring that went from the ground into the cameras, the video feed and the electric feed. All of that had been ripped off. PVC pipe anchoring the wiring to the pole had been forcibly ripped off. Something was very forceful in dismembering those cameras. We remembered we had another camera on another pole.
You don't dismember cameras. Disassemble
Sure
them.
you do.
It's a wonderful turn of phrase.
They have limbs.
Yeah. You dismember cattle. That part's accurate. Something forcefully dismembered the camera. You mean smashed it? Is that what you mean?
Sony guts.
Broke the camera? Sony guts.
Sony guts.
Paul, I stand corrected. If it has Sony guts, clearly it can be dismembered.
That's right.
What's your favorite Muppet movie, Paul?
Oh, so the first one for me is just like incredible nostalgia because I have many all my childhood, as everyone, it's like all your childhood thing. But the Muppets meant a lot to me before even Star Wars came around. Muppets was a big thing for me. So the Muppet movie was huge because who would have ever imagined, right, that was going to happen on the big screen? But the Muppet Christmas Carol is so good.
Muppet Christmas Carol is very, very good. Like Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol are both just absolutely phenomenal. But Muppet Christmas Carol is so good. Yeah.
And I maintain to this day that if they ever need to, for whatever reason, someone's forced at gunpoint, you've got to remake Princess Bride. I feel like Muppet Princess Bride would be amazing. Yeah. No, if someone had to, like because you shouldn't otherwise remake Princess Bride, right? But Muppet Princess Bride, anyway, whatever.
I see. I guess I'm going to disagree with you there because I feel like you could remake Princess Bride with a modern cast, give it a slightly different take.
Oh, so I've actually heard a pitch for this that you tell me what your pitch would be because I actually have also now heard a pitch that I would accept. But go ahead. What's your pitch?
I mean, I have literally not thought about this at all, but like I think you could remake Princess Bride, essentially just remake Princess Bride with just like, okay, we're gonna throw in like John Cena and I have to sit down and think who's.
So here's the pitch I've heard that I think is so. Fred Savage, in his current age, whatever he is, 40 something, 50 something, I don't know what he is.
50 something, yeah.
That character is now reading to his granddaughter the same book.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See?
But it's a daughter, right? So the daughter would be hearing the same words, the exact same words, but would be mentally picturing it somewhat differently than Fred did. when he was
Yeah.
a little boy. And so it makes sense to be a different cast.
If you
You
did
know,
it right, it could be fantastic. You could even have like the why didn't you just like text or whatever? It's like, well, they didn't
yeah,
have
exactly, right? So
like
so
yeah,
that to me is like the pitch is, oh, okay, you could remake it because
like that's
the
you.
the grandfather is going to be reading the exact same words, but the
Mhm.
kid, it's from the kid is
It's
going to be
instead of
mentioning
Peter.
better.
So Fred Savage is now Peter Falk, and they're
Yes,
doing
the
right.
correct.
Yeah, that would see, and I think that would be potentially could be really
Right.
good.
And it wouldn't
'Cause I
be
do think there's a you look at people 50 and under, it's like there's probably a shit ton of people who've never seen or even heard of Princess Bride. So you could like bring it back to a whole new
right.
audience, you know?
Just the funny thing is that like that is one example people often give of like that's the movie they did perfectly. Like no one needs to mess with it, right?
Well, I
But
mean, that's also true of Ghostbusters, and here we are. Ghostbusters is a perfect
no,
comedy.
but Ghostbusters. So I feel like
But I
Princess
mean, they already
Bride
made it.
actually,
They made a shitty sequel to Ghostbusters
Princess
themselves.
Bride holds up in a way that Ghostbusters does not.
Incorrect. Original Ghostbusters absolutely holds up in a way.
It does not.
I
When have you
I
watched it last?
this year.
Really?
Yes, and
I feel
I
like
still
uh I feel
there's
like
so many perfect things about that movie. Like it just they did it so
no,
well.
but when I say holds up, I mean like a new audience that has never seen like because there's 80s anachronisms in it,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
I
the
can see that.
effects don't hold up.
Yeah, but I don't know if that honestly. I don't think that matters.
It may
I
not.
really, I don't really don't like. I mean, you can even like. There's even stuff you'd watch on like streaming or thing where it's like it's got what we would consider very shitty special
I
effects.
just feel
Now
like
it's like
I
it's
feel like some of the
fine.
80s anachronisms
That
wouldn't.
part,
So,
yeah, you might be
Bill
right.
Murray is actively trying to sleep with students.
Yes,
They're, they treat the black guy in a way that you maybe like
yeah,
there's
but I also see
I
like
mean
that. It's
it's
the black.
well-meaning,
He
it's a
is black,
well-meaning
but he's
film, but
also he's the working class
I
guy.
get
He's
it,
we got
but
three academics and a guy. He happens to be black, and there you're not wrong. There certainly was that vibe, but it's like it's also this like Winston could have been a white character from the same background. Like I'm just a blue
right.
working guy. I'm like whatever. I'll believe anything you tell me as long as you give me a paycheck. Right? Just that
Fair.
that
Fair.
whatever.
But
Yeah.
the what the Princess Bride has going for it is it's not set actually in any specific
No,
period of time.
you're right. I get what you're saying now, and I agree with you. I do agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like kind of like a King Arthur
Right.
movie, right? It's like doesn't matter when you make it. It's about guys swinging swords in 600 AD, so it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do we
We have
have
a bunch of super chats.
Dave and I go off on a tangent on our cards?
That if anyone's paying attention, that's close. That's Paul and I having a fight. So
It's
hope you
true.
all
Yeah, that's
that off. Like, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Oh no, actually, you're right. Yeah.
yep. Well, let me see what we got for
Dave Victor for $2. You got that one? There we go. Trees have limbs, and yet you don't dismember one. It's true. You delimb it.
So yeah, does dismember
Limb.
for me somehow dismember means like the tearing of the torso. Do you feel like dismember just literally can mean delimbing?
I mean, I think that is what it actually
It probably
means.
is now that I'm thinking about
It's
it.
like ripping off an arm or a leg. You dismember somebody.
Yeah. What if
Yeah.
you what if you eunuch them? Does that also a dismemberment?
Nope. Mm-mm.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing, and we talked about this off stream. You're not supposed to. You keep that to yourself.
That's the polite word for it. Oh, so I apologize, Michael. It's pronounced Michael. Also, no yum has been yucked. I still love audio adrenaline. Okay. DC Talk, Newsboy, Jars of Clay, and Switchfoot are in my playlist. Are currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Newsboys had some bangers. They have some good songs. Remember what was it, the breakfast song?
Oh, yes.
When the toast has
Lee Lemon.
burned in all
When I had Lee
the
Lemon as a guest on my show, she literally just wouldn't stop singing that.
it's such a good song. Like it's an
They
earworm.
won't. That's the one, right? They won't serve breakfast in hell. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da,
Let
da,
this
da, da,
song
da, da.
remind you. Yeah.
But they don't serve breakfast in
It's like
hell.
reference to Capture Card stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a freaking earworm. Like it's one of those songs like you hear it and it just gets in your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Michael, cheers to your music selections. Well done.
Yep.
Brain cramp. Go ahead, Dave.
If Paul, they remade Princess Bride, Natasha Lyonne should play the grandfather, who I assume in this case would be grandmother.
The reason I picked Fred Savage was because I feel like you could get on board the people who are going to be mad about it.
Well, and I mean, like as much as I appreciate you, Brain Camp, and your super chat, and we love it. I have to agree. I side with Paul on this. I think Fred Savage is a better pick, like because it's Fred Savage is the guy. He was the kid in the original, and now it's like, well, like the grandfather read me a book. Now I'm reading you this book when you're sick or in home or whatever you got.
Yep.
COVID. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, yeah, I think.
And this has nothing to do with the fact that I don't know who Natasha Lyonne is.
You would know if you Google her picture, you'd know who Natasha Lyonne is.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Olivia Williams, the
Rats of unusual size, rodents of unusual size.
Well, yeah, no. I mean the look of them. They even at the time they weren't. It was pretty clear. Like I remember as a kid seeing that. It's like, well, he's just rolling around with a stuffed animal. Yeah, yeah. But I've had this. We probably talked about it on stream. That's like old Doctor Who episodes where it's like you can clearly see the zipper on the back of like the aliens costume or thing. And there was a lot more in the 80s and 70s and 60s, whatever, forgiveness for kind of like, sort of like watching theater and like we all agree we just don't see the guy that's dressed all in black behind holding up a thing, like it's just the thing like, yeah, we know, yes, we all fucking see the guy in black, but we all agree he's not there. It's
right.
Thing, like we all agree, yeah, you're fighting a giant actual rat. That's we get it. We'll agree that that's the way that it is. But you're not wrong. For modern audiences, that would not fly because they don't. Oh my goodness, Scotty Orange, super chatted $5. We appreciate it again so much, Scotty. Since we have digressed this far, can we get both of yours Peter Falk impersonation? Oh, well, that's 50% of that's a pretty easy sell. Paul, can we get your Peter Falk? Have you got your best?
I'm just having a bit more to drink before I get.
You gotta have a drink. You gotta get a little liquid courage in there. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what lines what are the lines? So
I mean, I can do.
Go for it.
Go for it. Columbo impression.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. That's actually better. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I can't do that. I wish I could make like the one eye, right? Because he had a false eye. He only had one eye, Peter Falk. So he had the one glass eye. You get the. Well, I see. I can't. I'm not an impressionist. We'll try this. Whatever. See, I was talking to Mrs. Columbo, and she said the funniest thing. She said, when you use, this is bad. This is going bad. And then he would just be like, one more question. I just have one more question, sir. How did the photo get developed if you just took it that night? It's my brain thinks about these kind of things. What happened there? Anyways, I've watched a lot of Columbo, and Peter Falk's amazing. And he has a movie, one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, with him and it's their father-in-laws and their kids are getting married. damn it. And it turns out he's in the CIA. There's all this stuff happens, and it's a fantastic movie. And now I have to look it up.
Yes, you're very smart.
Oh, yours is much better than mine.
Should we carry on? You don't like the kissing. We can carry on.
The In-Laws. That's the movie I'm thinking of.
The In-Laws,
with
right.
Alan Arkin. Yeah.
Just one more thing.
You
say you had the cameras pointed
one more question.
at each other.
Yeah.
How did that work exactly?
You said you have the camera, the entire ranch covered. I'm doing terrible. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yours sounds. Mine is not good in any way either, but yours sounds like your normal impression that you give when you're talking to anyone else on the phone. Like that's how that's the same impression you would give of me. I was talking to Paul and he did blah blah blah. That was your normal just other guy in the conversation voice.
It's not good. It's not good.
No, we're not professional.
I'm not Rich Little. I don't know what to tell you.
That's right.
This is what you get. Yeah.
Give me your best Rich.
$5,
Give me your best Rich Little
feel like
impression
it probably
there, Dave.
wasn't.
Yeah. All right, off we go.
Off we go.
Focus on this damage. We ran back.
Oh no!
God
So apparently
damn
it's when we wait too long.
Yeah.
When we get off on tangents.
It's bad news for Toast to Toast because that's kind of our signature move.
It's kind of our bread and butter. 16-12.
Yeah.
We're not making it deep into the cut today, Dave.
I can't believe Shannon's still in chat. This is way past
Shannon's having
disembowel, Paul. You're right. Yeah, it is.
Another camera on another pole. Focused on the.
But see that Princess Bride wasn't on TV originally. It was they showed it on theaters with film and everything.
Did you see Princess Bride in theaters?
Come out 82. No, I was too little. I was a wee lad. 82.
Most people. So it as I recall, it did very poorly in the box office. It was one of those films that became a hit because VHS got invented, and suddenly, yeah.
We had another camera on another pole focused on this damage. We ran back to the
Atlantic. 87.
Yeah, it was
I was definitely old enough to see Princess Bride, but I do not even remember that movie coming out in theaters.
No, it didn't do well. It did not do well in theaters at all, as I recall.
Center and played back the videotape, and this happened at about 8:30 at night during the summer, so there was plenty of light to see what had dismembered these cameras. We rolled the videotape, and then it went all the way past the 8:30 timestamp of where we knew the previous cameras had lost power. There was nothing on the videotape. You could see cows.
It's just nothing on the tape, Dave.
It's nothing on the tape. You just
we have the tape. It's just like as if we opened it up. And there's nothing, there's nothing on it.
And the weird thing is, we saw it, and there were lots of witnesses, and this definitely happened, but something erased the tape. I mean, even Alien the Freezer guy, he got actual photos. He, take a lesson from him. Oh well, now there you go.
Which now, for no good reason, is reminding me of Contact.
Should I crack this large bottle of beer, Paul? We got a little while left.
Absolutely. We got. Oh,
there we go. We're only like 2 hours in. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
Toast.
At the end of Contact, when they testify before Congress. Well, no, the entire tape of the entire thing that the main character, Jodie Foster's character, experienced, it was just static.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, they say, well,
18 hours of static or whatever.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I feel like this guy just bought some VHS tapes after the fact and handed them in. He's like, yeah, this is it. This is how it happened.
Yeah.
Whatever's on there.
Billy Crystal killed Princess Bride. So many people killed Princess Bride, but yes, Billy Crystal.
Also, I need to announce, apparently I'm wrong. So apparently it actually, for 1987, this is a great number.
30 million? Yeah. I'm guessing the budget was
that's a good number for 87. And especially, it's hard to imagine, but a $16 million production budget, which is virtually nothing now.
No, but there used to be a lot more movies that were. I was just recently talking. We were going through and looking. The we were doing like we were doing week. Some of my group of friends, we were for a reason going to have a week long sort of movie fest, and the theme for this one, we're like, okay, we're gonna do 90s. So everybody gets to pick it. You get a year, and you have to pick a movie from the 90s
Okay.
from that year.
That's a
So
decade,
I was
but
like, this is
okay.
where so it came up because of the Hackers one I had.
Okay.
It was like 95. So then I like go to look at the movies, and I'm like, okay, what movies came out that year? Because I wanted, but I'm like, holy fucking fuck! Like, there's like 40 really good movies. Like, these are all movies that I would
Heat.
consider like these are really good movies. Heat. It's like I'd have to pull it up and see, but it's like
Yep.
you look and you're like, I think I saw all or most of these in the theater. I would have had to have gone to the theater 2 or 3 times a month to see all of these movies in this year. Like in 84, 85, 86 are kind of the same thing where you're just like,
Yep.
there's like 70
Banger after banger. Yeah.
like really like movies that I'm like, no, this is a good movie. And they all came out in
Exactly.
theaters and they all came out that year. But they used
Yeah.
to, but part of it was like, yeah, we would do like a $10 million movie. So if it makes $25 million, well, hey, we did all right, you know?
Even then, the ratios are still the same. Basically, what you want to do in the theater, you know, the break-even number is basically double your production budget.
Yeah. They just made a lot more movies for a lot less money.
Right.
back
So
then.
exactly. So
It was
if you
much more of a
and also
which,
there
I mean,
was no,
to be fair, now that still happens, it just mostly happens on streaming now, not so much
Yeah.
theatrical release. But even
less.
the streaming
I mean,
budgets are
so
crazy.
Bezos, I mean, they announced recently they're now they Amazon has now switched to a what Netflix absolutely should do, and Apple has also said, like, we're putting all our stuff out in theaters now. We're not doing direct to streaming. They
Mhm.
figured out that
Oh wait, we can actually make a lot more money.
but also
Yeah.
the prestige, there's still like this prestige of, oh, this came out in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like I don't think Amazon is going to put literally everything out. But they've said like we're putting out at least 12 movies a year, for example, out of Amazon. Yeah, but you are leaving money on the table for sure when you could be making even if it is only $30 million or whatever it is. Scotty Orange. Do I remember the last VHS tape I purchased? This is a good question.
VHS? Oh Jesus.
So this would be just before I got my DVD player.
See,
I think it was U2 Rattle and Hum.
oh, somebody wants to see. It is this Phillips Brewery malting heavy pedal porter. It is a cool label. And it's also very good if you like dark beers. Mine, so I'm trying to remember because as we talked about earlier this very night, Paul, my family, we had Super Channel, TBS, TNT, HBO, like we had all these premium cable channels. We had a collection of hundreds of VHS tapes, but they were not bought. It was you put the tape in and you record while you're watching this movie, you know. So we had like, you know, the Terminator, Predators, all these Arnold Schwarzenegger franchise. I don't even know, like so many, literally hundreds and hundreds of VHS tapes that were recorded from TV. You know what? I actually do remember the last VHS tape that I bought was regarding Henry, and it was a gift from my mother.
There you go.
Yep.
I will tell you what most people's statistically in the world answer is, and that is The Phantom Menace.
See, I was already on the DVDs before that, as I think you were.
But George, I was there. George famously dragged did not. So Phantom Menace didn't come out on DVD for a long time.
Yeah, but I just lied. I still own them, and they are still on a shelf in this house. I could go grab it. The last VHS tapes I bought were the re-release, the Star Wars. Hey, we're releasing this before, like this is the original cut.
Yep.
we're going to do the special editions, but you know what? If you want the original ones, you can still get them one last time.
Those came out in 97, I think or so. The non-special editions, as they were.
Yeah, and I still have that box set, but I have nothing that will play them. But those were the last VHS tapes that I bought. Yeah.
But in the world, Phantom Menace became the top-selling VHS title of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was partially because no one was even still doing them. It was the biggest film of the year, obviously, but ridiculously was not coming out on DVD for whatever reason.
Paul, I have to take a bio break.
Okay. I'm going to carry on with
do it. Let's listen to some Skinwalker Ranch. Fill me in when I get back.
Yep.
All right.
Raising the pole and you could see the cameras, but nothing whatsoever could be seen. Now, obviously, we took the footage to Las Vegas. We got it digitally enhanced. We got it blown up. We got it enhanced to the extent where you could see the tiny light on the 3 cameras as they lost power, but you could not see who had destroyed those cameras. It looked like a forceful, brute strength operation. We caught it on film, but there was nothing on film.
That's impossible.
We went through a gaming exercise. Was there any possibility somebody in deep camouflage could have crawled along? There was sufficient light and granularity on the video, especially when blown up, to detect anything close to that telephone pole with the cameras. We went round the block on this, analyzed it up the yin-yang.
So help me out in chat. Did he say that the whole tape was static? Or was it that the whole tape was purely just like the pitch black what you would get when normally? Because it sounds like what he's saying is that we recorded, what we would expect a normal tape to be looking at up until the point where the camera was dismembered or disboweled. Disboweled is probably the word I was looking for earlier. That's why it makes sense. Before the camera got totally destroyed. I feel like he's switched here, but I'm a few drinks in and we've had a lot of side quests. So let me know in the chat, was it static on the camera or was it just the dark image?
And there was nothing caught on camera, but there was this tremendous physical force. It goes back to your scientists talking about vibrational frequencies. These are physical impacts that leave evidence that have nothing to do with vibrational frequencies.
Yeah. Since we have you for only such a short time.
Yes, Zigdomar. That is that was what I was talking about before. That's the contact famous line. Well done. I'm here seeing Melly and Curious Nerd Kitty saying the whole tape looked just normal. Okay, so up until the point where the camera was disemboweled, dismembered, disemboweled. Yeah, that very good, Timothy. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm on track with what they're talking about. Art did say, for whatever reason, that's impossible. Yeah, it kind of is. Although, really, I mean, you can destroy a camera from underneath, I feel like, or from around. It'd be a reach around situation. Although maybe that's why they were saying he had the 2 cameras. Maybe this makes sense, Dave.
Yes.
That's why they had the cameras pointed at each other. Was because the cameras were getting destroyed in ways that they didn't understand. And so what they were actually filming was what's happening to our other cameras.
They
were no longer interested in what was happening in the field. They wanted to know what's happening.
Something's destroying the cameras, and they want to go.
Gotcha.
I'm all excited. I'm still busy. I actually picked up my Star Wars.
Oh, there it is.
Because there they are. Whoops.
So those are not actually though the 77 cut. Anyway,
No, these aren't these? Isn't it?
They're not. They're not. They're actually a
No, you're right. This is the special edition that is the
yeah.
These are remastered, but they aren't the
No, they're those are the special editions. So the 83 cut. The 83 cut came out on Laserdisc, as you know, because you watched them at my house several times.
Yes. Yeah.
And
then we still have, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they still have on So we put them out on DVD as a special feature
Mhm.
in, oh boy, I want to say 2004 ish, and that's the last time they went out. They came out was
Yeah. That is the last time those movies have been released.
Yep.
Well, now I'm
No,
now
those
I'm
are
gonna,
those are
I'm gonna
definitely the
be in my
special
bonnet.
editions that you
Now
got
I'm gonna,
there.
yeah, it even says right on it.
Yeah.
Big Bear.
All right.
Sad
So
facts.
so I'm gonna also buy a break. So what do you want to do? Just do you want to interact with chat, or do you want me to let Art play for a while?
We'll just interact with chat. We'll wait till you come back. Yes, it's you. Now that everybody says, I'd super remember it because there was the silver and there was the gold. Yeah, like I had the originals, but they were, like I said, VHS that were just copied off of TV, but they were I don't know. Anyways, Star Wars, huh? I will tell you my other piece of Star Wars memorabilia I have close to hand. Let's see if I can pull this out of my shelf without wrecking a bunch of stuff. This is super dumb. From when they re-released Star Wars in theaters in the 90s. I bought this stupid cereal 3-pack with holographic, you got your New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi covers. Oh my goodness, these are so stellar. I want to make sure you guys can see the beautiful fully rendered artwork. And on the back, they've got those dumbass magic eye things that were so popular in the 90s, where if you stare at it just the right way, eventually like a 3D picture will pop out. Yeah, good times. This cereal is probably, let's see, 30 years from 1998. So, if you open these boxes up, I don't know if you'd want to eat it. Maybe it would be fine. I don't know. I feel like 30-year-old cornflakes, Kellogg's, corn pops, frosted, probably not the best thing for your health. Surgeon General does not recommend. Either way, I'm tremendously proud of my cereal boxes. All right, let's read that. All of Ashanti has the same box set. Yes, I think a lot of people. Yeah, there you go. This movie wasn't as cool as you said. See, you're right. That was it. That's the false memory. You remember it somehow over decades. Your memory gets conflated with something that you think it was, but it wasn't. Then you look and you're like, oh wait, no, this isn't the thing. And just my life is built on lies.
My video that came out today was talking about Mandela effect and memory type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. It's a schooner is in relation.
I have a Samurai Darth Vader. I could show the Samurai Darth Vader.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's right.
Have I ever shown you my Samurai Darth Vader?
I know, but
actually, super cool. I'm gonna go grab it real quick.
All right.
Mandela effect. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right. Because we had a super chat for $10, which is like, what about Samurai Darth Vader? That overrides whatever random thing I was gonna say. But also, someone in the chat was mentioning, I think it was Candy Black, was mentioning schooners, which is also a reference to that science video that I did, where we were talking about how the fact that maybe it's a reference, maybe it's not. The wooden ships can only be built so big. Oh, well, this is Gifo2. It is, I'm seeing here, it is your very first super chat for the channel. So thank you so much, Gifo2, for supporting the channel in that way. Dave will eventually come back.
I'm back.
Meanwhile,
back on the ranch.
For Czar back on Skinwalker Ranch. Czar. Oh, go ahead.
This is the Samurai Darth Vader. Here's the actual You know, so
Amazing.
we got,
I
and there's like
kind
a
of
bunch
don't
of
love the
different
Darth
hands and
Vader.
heads and stuff.
I don't
Sorry.
love the Death Star thing on the head.
There's a different so it is removable,
Okay.
right? So you can do just the Darth Vader
Yeah,
head.
I like
or
that.
there's
That's a lot better.
a different one. I like it because it is kind of like a semi, like that's what real samurai. There's like a whole bunch of different hands and swords accessories. So every now and then I look. These go for literally like $300-400 US on eBay now. These Darth Vader samurai, but this was a gift, so I just it's in my DNA. I can't sell something that was given to me as a gift.
There
even
must
though
be
the
a
person
different
who
must be
gave it
different
to me is like, just freaking sell it, man. What do you?
That's
what are you
like
doing?
that's like a 12-inch scale, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had one that was like more of an 18-inch scale at one point. It did that exist? That must have unless I'm
It might have.
doing my own
Because this particular one, there was like a whole line. So there's a Samurai Boba Fett, which is worth even more than the Darth Vader. There's a whole bunch of Stormtrooper Ashigaru who are like peasant fighters with just like spears and go, but they're Stormtroopers. There's like a whole series of these kind of.
Mine was less dynamically posed. It was
Well, and this one is so it's like incredibly jointed, and you can do like the wrist, the hand, the elbow. You can pose. It is a very, very nice fig. Even though I'm not a person who generally collects, figures, but this one is very good. This is the other. I don't know if I showed you this, Paul. So I have finally completed. Did I show you? This is my stack.
Oh my!
If you can see. So we've got Laszlo, Colin Robinson, right? Or Colin Robinson there. Sorry, Laszlo. Yeah, Nandor.
The full What We Do in the Shadows set.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So somebody got me 3 of these for my birthday.
Okay.
Years ago. And I was like, you son of a bitch. And they're like, what? I'm like, I have to now. There's a reason I don't collect pop figures. It's because if I grab like one from a set, it's like the OCD part of my brain is like, I need to get the whole set. And Nadja specifically, it's like, yeah, we made like 100 of these. And this one I bought from someone in Australia, fucking Australia, for like $80.
Oh man.
And it took me years to find that deal because a bunch were like, you can get this for like $300. I'm like, no, I'm not paying $300. But it's like, I gotta have it. I have to have this. But now I have finally the full set of What We Do in the Shadows.
If you in the chat have not
figures.
seen What We Do in the Shadows and you're a Disney Plus subscriber, just go watch it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And also,
so Taika Waititi, who now is beloved. The What We Do in the Shadows was one of Taika Waititi's very first films.
Nobody knew who he was when that movie came out.
No.
They knew Jermaine Clement because the Flight of the Conchords was a thing.
Right. So if you liked Jojo Rabbit or Thor Ragnarok or it's not kudos to him, but he directed a bunch of Mandalorian.
Or Our Flag Means Death.
Our Flag Means Death, yeah.
Which is more. Our Flag Means Death is more what in the feel of What We Do in the Dark. Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows.
Anyway, What We Do in the Shadows. Oh,
it's so good.
So good. Okay, we have another super chat from Curious Nerd Kite.
Yes.
Watched Princess Bride home movie. Big actors made it during the lockdown in 2020 from home in home movie style. It was edited together and it's hilarious. I've not heard of this.
I have not heard of this either.
Was it the cast of the original or was this just other
I'm curious.
Actors. Thank you for the recommendation.
I'm not going to watch it right now.
No, because we all need to maintain our monetize. Not Love and Thunder. No, Olivia will. No, we're not talking about Love and Thunder.
No.
We mean Ragnarok.
Home movie, The Princess Bride, right there. Look at that. Well, I'll have to check that out after. Directed by Jason Reitman. Yeah. All right.
I'm curious what since I've been told that there's recent activity. What kind of recent activity at the ranch or the area?
Well, I know that there's a lot of witnesses coming out with strange flying objects, balls of light. One of the classic things about that we're seeing multiple times on the property were these orbs of light, and they may be different colors. We saw bright white ones. The Gorman family used to see blue ones. Red ones caused a lot of damage to cattle. Other eyewitnesses have come forward, especially recently around the property, to also claim that there's flying light in the area. We don't know why this activity is continuing or what has triggered it again, but there's a strong discouragement from going near that property. It is under surveillance. Trespassing is absolutely out of the question. Trespassers will be prosecuted.
Okay. Colum, you said start it up again. So there was kind of...
Well, if it says that, you definitely can't trespass.
But at the same time, there are so many witnesses, we can't even count them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just so many. I do kind of feel like if this stuff's happening in the sky, much like the so-called, the Bethlehem star that led the wise men to where Jesus was, and I'm still very curious as to how exactly a star pinpoints you to a specific building.
You just got to kind of feel it.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happens on the Skinwalker Ranch people.
So I understand your confusion here, Paul. The star didn't lead them to the specific building; it led them to Bethlehem, and then you found the stable that was glowing from the inside. So yeah. It's like the map's going to lead you to the strip mall. But you got to find the arcade's the one with all the video game machines in it. Like, fucking figure it out, okay? We're not here to hold your hand.
We're not holding your hand here. Come on. Scotty Orange for $5. Thank you so much. Writes the M. Night Shyamalan. If M. Night Shyamalan were to direct any of the Star Wars movies, what would be the twist ending? Darth Vader father twist excluded. What would be the twist? So
I mean, they already pulled that shit kind of in Revenge of the Sith. You were my granddaughter this whole time.
Oh no, you're talking about not Revenge of the Sith. You're talking about the Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, Palpatine has returned. It's not really a twist when it's the opening line of text.
So I will say the funny thing that just was infuriating the whole time I worked there was that George was convinced that no one in the audience knew that Senator Palpatine was the Emperor.
Wow.
George was convinced that only a handful of nerds had caught on.
Okay.
And that when he did that switch, that it was gonna what? Like that it was gonna be like a big M. Night Shyamalan, and it was like, no, everyone knows it's the same actor, and you're telegraphing it like.
What would be the twist here is if he doesn't somehow turn into Palpatine, but then what you've been doing is great. You're doing the old bait and switch, the old double swerve, the old
No, so the real twist, so it would be the Darth Jar Jar twist.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
That would be what M. Night would do, the Darth Jar Jar twist, where suddenly you didn't realize it, but it had been Jar Jar all along. Who was
the true?
He was just playing the fool, as it were.
Yeah. So if I was doing a Star Wars twist, it would be that no, the Empire, like, there is a greater threat out there. There's some galaxy threatening threat, like a horrible insect alien swarm from another galaxy. There's something where it's like, no, the Emperor was right. Like, we need to militarize the galaxy, and this is something horrible is happening, and this is necessary. We need to do these things. And he could see the future, and he was like, no, this has to happen. This isn't just a personal power grab for personal reasons. And then you defeated him, and now we're not ready for.
Right. So there's a Star Wars equivalent of White Walkers.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
That
And it's
there
like,
was
and so
something
we
beyond the
destroyed the.
wall.
Yeah, we destroyed the
Right.
wall, whatever. It's like, no. It turns out we needed this. This was the only thing keeping us safe, and you destroyed it, thinking you were freeing us, and now it's gonna get so much worse. Like you thought it was bad, but it's gonna get so much worse, and maybe everybody's going to die. And actually, Palpatine was the hero the whole time. You know that would be if I was doing a twist in Star Wars, that would never happen because Star Wars is a very black and white.
Right.
World, but that would be my my twist. What a twist.
Lemon twist, you should try it. It's good. Did you watch
Claire.
Did you watch the new Beverly Hills Cop?
No. Is it
I
any
did.
good?
No.
Yeah. No.
And it plays so much on, like, it literally plays
remember
so
this?
much on nostalgia. Yeah, it's a Chris Farley. Remember when you said the thing?
Yeah,
And then
the big old memberberry pie right there.
It is absolutely. You remember you went in the hotel and you didn't have a booking, so you made up a thing so you could get a hotel room in every single movie because yeah. All right, poor Claire.
Poor Claire. Why do people love Ghostbusters? Doesn't make sense. Not funny, and main character sucks. And those creatures aren't ghosts. Ghosts are souls of dead people. I like you, poor Claire, and I want to be friends. So I don't know what to say here because I feel the original Ghostbusters is close to a perfect comedy in my mind from a writing standpoint. Now that's I have a writing background and I come to it from a writing and just like comedic timing and going. I think it's a very, very funny movie, but maybe that's just my.
I'm going to defend. I'm going to defend for Claire here. So
come at me, bro.
Paranormal. So they're very clear. Bankman and his crew, they are studying the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
They're very clear, but they need a and when they lose all their funding from academia, they need to come up with a marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
So they were not under the illusion that they were hunting ghosts per se, but that was the common vernacular under which they could get basically, people are stupid, and so you got to pander to the crowd. So we called it Ghostbusters, but they knew all along they were studying paranormal and other dimensional things as well. So the real science, they weren't fooled into thinking they were doing just ghosts. So I'm just defending the in-universe study there.
There you go.
Yeah. And Zool fit in because it was fiction.
Right. They're not necessarily saying they're souls of dead people. That's true. Within the Ghostbuster canon, you don't know what these ghosts are. Are they aliens? Are they interdimensional beings? What
No, but I get why the word ghost, and they actually, I think they do even in the film use it consistently. Ghosts, like the librarian, the very first one they hunted, the librarian was a ghost, like it was a dead librarian.
Yeah,
but like, was Slimer? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Slimer was not a dead human. Slimer was some kind of extra dimensional being.
They don't really ever get it. I mean, it's an 80s comedy, so they. They don't get it nuts.
Poor Claire acknowledges though I like the song though, so yeah.
But like that elevator scene where they very first time they activate the proton pack, like the timing and everything of it, it's perfect, right? Like just the way it turns it on and they kind of edge away, and it's the facial reactions. That is in my mind, like that's comedic as good as you can get. As good as you can get.
It's true. Yeah. This man has no dick.
Yes, right. like
it's just
yeah. There's just so many. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Why does Sleep keep trying to interrupt my toast AM?
That's a good question, Mark. It's To be fair, they are sponsoring the
They are
episode.
sponsoring today's show.
They're all over the place, and we have to. I mean, we get to say they do good work, and
That's right.
why they're here. Yeah.
Frankly, that is one of the benefits I find of doing this show, is that it is one of my best sleeps in general.
Afterwards,
because we stay up until like 4:00 my time.
Yeah,
and then
drinking the whole time.
And and then I'm exhausted from being on air.
Yeah,
my social battery is fully drained.
Anybody who knows me in real life will tell you I tire you out. That's that's what I do. Yeah, it's a lot of work. Just
Olivia Williams, generous. Thank you so much, Olivia. I knew who the Emperor would because of the novelization of New Hope released well before. So George, oddly, he also insisted that just no one would remember that he had called him Senator Palpatine, or like the Palpatine had been a name in the novelizations. He was sure that the nerds in his audience wouldn't connect those dots.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. Everybody knew right from Phantom Menace on. Yeah.
But you could only push him so far. So anyway, but yes, Olivia, well observed. Well observed. I cannot believe this one, Dave. $100 super chat.
Yes, is Northern Spike.
Oh my goodness.
Has been
Thank you so
incredibly
much.
Generous supporter of this channel in the past. Yes. And a
and you know what? We have a policy on the show that we will read the super chats.
Yes.
As long as they are appropriate for the show.
Northern Spike. You want me to read it? Will it make you feel better?
No.
Okay.
I don't know specifically what you're referring to here. So I'm going to just. That's a comment about a friend of mine.
This is Northern Spike's comment. This is not Paul's.
It's not mine. And also, so I don't know the context or what you might be referring to. Things can happen. So I am just going to say that that's not my experience. But if you want to message me separately somehow to let me know what you're referring to, I'm happy to talk about it there. Otherwise,
maybe post a time code or a link, a time code in the video or something.
Otherwise, that is not my experience, but I do appreciate you sending a note to the show. And until such time, I'm quite happy with the line. But let me know if there's something I'm not aware of that's going on.
But we didn't read the super chat, Paul.
No, we're not gonna.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Moving on. Scotty Orange.
Yeah.
$2. I love it when Toast to Toast devolves into an AMA. Cheers. Yeah, this is basically our modus operandi. Yep, this is what we do.
Back to the Skinwalkers.
But a lull period. When did it begin again?
Well, this is just hearsay because it's been 2 years since I've left. But from the feedback that we've got, it started up less than a year ago. It's not only on the ranch. Eyewitnesses that have come forward as a result of the reading this book have essentially completely supported all of the activity that on the property, but have extended the radius not only on the ranch to the entire area. This area of northeastern Utah has been a hotspot for so long. We went through our magnetic surveys of the area. We were trying to track gravitation.
I just want to say, Northern Spike, please do message me privately. I would love to know more about what you're talking about. So,
yeah, we don't want to shut you down or say we're not. Yeah. We don't want to make it sound like we're dismissing you.
I just need to know a little more about what's happening there.
Well, context.
Anomalies. We did an awful lot of footwork to see if there was anything unique about the area. We couldn't come up with anything.
The only rap that I've ever heard on Bob Bigelow and on NIDS is that it keeps things pretty close to their chest. I guess you're still involved. You're still there. I guess, George, you've probably heard this from other researchers, that they get a little frustrated because NIDS does keep things to themselves until they've got everything investigated and the final reports in. So when you heard about this ranch, George.
So here, this So this is what you call, like, you don't just, as soon as you sort of maybe, this is where I'm like, okay, maybe these are actual real scientists or go, because you don't like, well, we kind of saw this thing, so we're gonna rush out and be like, we this. You're like, well, this is a thing, but we're gonna see if we can repeat it, back it up. Like until as we have our ducks in a row, we've got facts, we've got something. I'm not gonna publish a thing or do a thing until no. I can back up what I'm saying, and I can see other Bigfoot slash, Atlantis researchers being like, oh, you got to show me the thing. It's like, no, I'm not going to publish a paper about this because I have absolutely no fucking evidence to back it up. So I will look like an idiot if I actually go like on the internet and say this is a thing happening. And all right, anyways, moving on. With other reasons, like, you guys got to say more and do more. It's like, well, real researchers in the real world do not throw out, maybe in a conference or talking or say a thing, but they're not sure as hell not publishing something until it's like, no, I got evidence to back this up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get in right away, or was there work involved?
It took a while to convince both Colum and Bob Bigelow to let me on the property, especially with the television camera. And I assured them, look, I'm going to work on this thing, but we'll wait until the time is right to go public. This is an ongoing scientific investigation. People outside of NIDS don't know what's going on. You don't invite the public to participate in cancer research or something.
Yeah.
This entity, this precognitive sentient entity, which is Colonel John Alexander's name for it, it's an interactive process, and people being on the ranch affects what goes on.
Precognitive, Paul. That just, where did that come from? It's not just, it's a precognitive sentient entity. Yeah. All right.
So, as in precog, meaning it can tell the future, right? Like,
yeah.
You
have pre-knowledge. It's way more useful than post-cognition.
Meanwhile, Matthew.
Yeah.
Strictly
Busy
to disrupt.
us.
C to C. We're T to T, so
yeah,
you can interrupt to Art all you want because Art's not around anymore. So
no, he's dead.
Much love, peace, and various emojis.
And so we got the live long and prosper.
The Vulcan.
You got the devil horns. And got a heart.
All right.
Oh, that's a pretty shitty heart right there. There, yeah, Paul can do it. My hands are clumsy. I have the brutish hands of a dock worker. There you go. Yeah, you do it. Whatever. Everybody loves Paul.
There, having trespassers is not something NIDS wanted, so they kept it quiet. What do you tell the world? For scientists like Colum and others is that nothing on this ranch and the more than 100 incidents that NIDS...
But I definitely should have picked some of these stuff off.
The this bingo card,
we kind of got sidetracked. Yeah.
But also because he's been so hyper focused on one topic, it actually hasn't covered.
No.
Often an Art Bell guest will be so all over the map, bringing in every possible.
Yes.
Every possible problem.
Mm-hmm.
Or not problem, but every possible. Like they're just trying to say yes and to every single conspiracy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Gritmonger for $10 says, "Love you guys, but I need to explain Love and Thunder for you guys someday. Oh, and watch Hunt for the Wilder People." So do you mean like the Marvel Thor Love and Thunder?
The movie?
Or is this a different
Which
Love
I
and
have
Thunder?
very... So here is why... So my issue with Love and Thunder, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So all the movies that really bug me, it's always the same thing. It's that Love and Thunder could have been so much better than it was, and it wasn't. What the things they had to work with, like Gore is an amazing character, and you could have had such a good story. and the Jane Foster Thor run,
Lady Thor, yeah.
Lady Thor, and the cancer, right? And it's like they don't get it, like in the comics they get into it more and go where it's like, so what happens in the comic, so this they're kind of like, well, it's killing you and you go. In the comics what it is that Mjolnir, like when you think like it purges her body of the chemo drug, because the chemo drugs are essentially poison, right? Like they're killing parts of your body. You would have a better knowledge than I would, Paul, but it's like chemo's not pleasant. Like it's literally poison. It's bad.
Yes.
And so like every time she wields the hammer and turns it, it's all of the chemo that she's taking for cancer is purged, and she's doing this every day because every day there's people that are in danger. You know, it's like, well, I could save this person's life and go. So that's why it's not this kind of like amorphous, oh, you know, the hammer's killing you, it just is killing you. You can't do this.
Although
Right,
that, like to be fair, that was not the problem. That
no, but just the whole, like, those should have been 2 or 3 totally separate movies. It could have, any of those could have been a good story. Gore could have, you didn't need it. It's nothing got the time it deserved for, to give it the emotional weight it needed for the story. You know what I mean? That's why I say like this could have been so much better, but you didn't give anything the time that it needed or the space to breathe or let things be sad for 15 minutes.
I don't disagree necessarily.
Yeah.
I think you and I might disagree on how to fix it, but I think we probably agree on why it's broken. So
yeah, and we would disagree, but also probably agree. Like I think either of us would think like, yeah, if you did this or this, it would be better. Like whatever the thing you want to do, it would be better. Like just give this a, yeah, that's exactly right.
I think the bones of Gore were actually there.
The bones were, that's the thing. Like the bones were there.
Yeah.
That you gave the, like this character's here, but then you didn't get, like you could have done 2 hours on just this character, like, but you didn't. Like there's so much you could have gone into. You didn't flesh out this, like, you know, it's the Ragnarok's a good comparison, right? Like you get into the, you know, like in a lot of ways, Hela is a tragic character and what happened and between her and Odin and all these things, and you give a chance to like get a, okay, so Asgard's this great golden city, but it's like, but it's kind of built on this legacy of, you know, conquest and murder and all these things. Like there's a lot of skeletons in the closet, and what Thor thinks his father is not what his father is. And they, you know, it makes Ragnarok a much more poignant and enjoyable, despite the comedy and stuff that's in there. There is an undertone of like,
that I for sure agree.
Right. And they could have done that with Love and Thunder, but they didn't.
Hunt for the Wilder People. Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I know what it is.
I feel like this must be the kid from Deadpool 2.
Yes.
Right?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we got Stephanie Helms, member for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
I am myself a post-cognition entity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fantastic superpower. You should
post-cog.
Yeah. You can probably save people.
After something happens, I tell you all about it.
Yeah, I can tell you what you should have done differently to avoid this. Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Investigated is reproducible. Nothing ever happened the same way twice. This entity, this intelligence, was wily and cagey, almost like stalking big game. It never did the same thing twice. It seemed to read people's thoughts. You're trying to investigate that, and nothing is reproducible, and you're a reputable scientific organization that interests mainstream scientists into investigating paranormal type activity. You don't want to come forward with something half-baked and say, hey, by the way, we had a giant Sasquatch crawl through a tunnel of light. What do you think about that?
What do you tell the world?
That's a good
I mean, he's a little bit self-aware. That's good. That's good. We went to the
Hey,
journal.
hey, we had a giant Sasquatch crawl through a tunnel of light. What do you think about that? Oh, I'm not welcome back next year. Okay, well,
Right. Oh, the
cool. Good
folks at
conference,
Science
everybody.
Magazine didn't. Yeah.
It does, poor Claire.
The people at Nova weren't impressed by our Sasquatch.
Sasquatch crawling through a tunnel of light. Do you have any video or photos of this? No.
Well, the thing is, you see, he does something different every time. Like this time, it was watching through a tunnel of light. Last time, he disemboweled our cameras. So he just does. It's like he's
dismembered. He dismembered the
it's like he's reading our mind.
It's probably precognition.
It's probably he knows in advance what will prove him to us.
That's why we can't.
So he does the opposite of that.
That's why we can't tape him because he sees the future. He knows. Yep.
Hello, poor Claire. Thank you for the super chat. Does Cybertruck count as talking shit about Nikola Tesla?
Sure,
No?
whatever.
Sure,
I say so. Yeah,
we're on fumes tonight when it comes to the bingos.
Yeah,
we've had no Atlantis.
You know, Paul, who did talk frequently in his writings about a Bigfoot crawling from a tunnel of light.
No, it was not Jesus.
No, it was Nostradamus. Paul.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you can have Nostradamus. That's right.
That was not going to give me the one I need to.
I'm just giving you. Yeah, Jesus was famously talking about.
It's the Sasquatches. I mean, you know.
Sasquatches. How do you have so many? I have like
the Aramaic word for Sasquatch, which was,
There's no Y2K. There's no Satan. There's no AI.
Art hasn't mentioned Egypt. There's no Atlantis. There's no where. This is weak.
I think I can. No, we granted the folksy expression, right? That's the one.
We did. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I can have transdimensional beings.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even as a stretch. That's if a Bigfoot crawling through a tunnel of light's not a transdimensional being,
yeah,
then I don't know.
I'm
wrong
taking incorrect science used as evidence.
We're only 12 minutes. You're not wrong, Webb. The only reason we're not doing well in bingo is because we're only 12 minutes into the episode. I mean, I honestly do feel these guys they're pretty hyper focused on.
We are 22 minutes in.
Yeah.
Don't be.
Yeah, Webb. This brutal
We have only
false advertising.
We are a third of the way there, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Third of the way.
We're going.
But what essentially did you tell the world about what you conclude is happening?
You should tell the story about your recent experience on the line. I saw this clip. It made me laugh. It was fantastic. Everybody.
So I was hosting the Sunday, the late. So there's two Sunday shows. There's a regular Sunday show and the late Sunday show. I was hosting with Eric of Skeptic and Scoundrels, who is not here. I don't think Eric's with us tonight, but often
today. But he's definitely been in the show.
Often is here, and we were co-hosting the show, and a gentleman called in to discuss why he believes that God exists, and why we should perhaps believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a rather ethereal definition of God, this caller, and I wish I could remember his name, but he felt that we could define God as many things. So perhaps you define the universe as God and various things, and I think anyway, doesn't matter. At one point he says, have you ever heard of Art Bell? And Eric and I just laughed, and so he went. I don't even know what he was talking about for a while because we were just we thought it was great.
Yeah,
we were like, listen, Paul has an actual literal podcast that he does on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah,
where he just dedicates the whole thing to Art Bell. And then the guy was like, "Oh, I think he wanted to maybe perhaps use Art Bell's name in a way that wasn't maybe going to align with someone who actually had heard of him."
Yeah.
The caller's point was essentially that we should be accepting everyone No, what the caller wanted to say was that what's more important is to have interesting conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we agree that what Art Bell facilitated was interesting conversations ahead of search for
Right.
truth. Art wasn't here to say, when this show is done, we're going to have the answers.
No.
He was there to, and so in that way, I actually thought the caller was very accurate in how they were describing Art.
Yes. And
Go ahead.
even if it's if I would say art is like, even if I don't believe what you're saying, it's like I'm gonna give you a chance to say it, and I'm gonna listen and react to it and respond as if this is like legit,
Right.
right? Like, okay, so like if what you're saying is true, what about this? Or what are these questions, right? Which that is
And that's
a
what the
better
line
way.
caller, the
Yeah.
line caller wanted Eric and I to respond more in an Art Bell way, to just
Right.
to go with him with his theory instead of pressing him
That's not what that
on maybe why that isn't going to work out. So
yeah.
it was just a delightful bit of coincidence or
Yeah. He could throw out this
overlap
kind of,
that he
there's
was.
this guy that had this
Have you
radio
guys ever
show
heard
in the
Art
90s.
Bell? Yeah, well, yes, yes, we have.
Yeah.
We've missed some super chats here.
Mhm.
Poor Claire,
Yeah.
I think, wants to claim a bingo card 25.
Yes, I looked it up.
Top left
Poor
to
Claire is
bottom right.
correct.
Oh
Poor
my!
Claire does have a bingo. Paul mentioned Star Wars, Nikolai Tesla, which has been mentioned many times. Have a drink, easy enough. Aliens, UFO, that's a giveaway this time. And ghosts. I mean, there's been a lot of ghost talk.
Yep.
So, yep.
All right, fair enough. Well done,
check.
Claire. You got the first bingo of the night.
Shannon got one earlier. I don't want to be dishonest.
And Melly for $5 writes, they need to take the bird dog route and just shoot at the lights.
Good callback, bird dog. But that they did. That was the first reaction. We saw these glowing yellow orb the eyes, and we just shot this 15-foot tall thing with glowing eyes. Yep. Totally.
That was back when they thought it was just
like probably a Bigfoot. Yeah.
That's when they thought it was 2-dimensional lights instead of realizing it was a 3-dimensional light that the Sasquatch could crawl through.
We're lucky if it's only 3 dimensions, Paul.
Anyway, I feel like the last thing we heard from them was that perhaps that so far their evidence might not pass peer review.
Yes, that the actual scientists investigating this are hesitant to go to a conference and say, well, we saw a Sasquatch crawling through a tunnel of light. What do you think about that?
All right.
Happening there.
We cataloged many phenomena and went through possible explanations, broad dimensional realities, extraterrestrial visitation, hallucinations. We deliberately did not draw a firm conclusion from the research because, as George mentioned, an ongoing project. I left NID 2 years ago, but I know that the research is continuing at a different level. The object is not to draw specific conclusions.
We left, the evidence for it could be aliens, could be interdimensional beings, could be demons. I mean, really, the jury's still out.
Yeah,
the evidence.
He did actually include. I like that he included hallucinations in there.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't want to say it's demons when it's really interdimensional beings. How embarrassing would that be?
Could be just a specific vibration making everybody
that whole
cow flesh,
that whole cow flesh removing vibration that we don't accidentally tune into that one.
Nope.
Because that could lead nowhere.
Did you ever feel close to communication with some kind of intelligence or making a breakthrough of some kind that would be documentable and, the smoking gun?
Yes, during the summer of 1990, beginning with that calf incident, there was a tremendous amount of activity. We were interacting with something. We had constructed a series of watchtowers that had dogs as biosensors on the ranch. We were getting a tremendous
Dogs with biosensors, is that what I heard?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. You mean noses?
Mm-mm.
No.
Biosensors.
I see. Biosensors.
This is highly scientific.
Hmm.
Amount of visual sightings, and we were interacting with something that was manifesting in different ways. And we even went to the extent of attempting to be proactive, leaving messages, boxes of bricks with symbols, many attempts to communicate, but the communication never happened on our terms, whatever was on this property. We were never able to catch it unawares.
Were you trusted by your neighbors?
It was a slow process. When we
I mean, I'm not trusted by my neighbors.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
arrived, we had the reputation as, this was this kind of very wealthy organization of scientific people with probably government connections. This whole thing was a lot of distrust, but I think over time, we visited the neighbors many times. We talked to them. I think over time, we did build trust. And certainly the immediate neighbors around the ranch all reported almost identical phenomena to what the Gorman family had reported on their properties. So, the 5 or 6 properties that surrounded the ranch.
If the Gorman property
Mm-hmm.
suddenly sold out to some corporation that is giving every appearance of being incredibly wealthy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you,
Right.
I feel like you're highly motivated to say, "Oh yeah, we're seeing the same stuff over in my yard."
Now, Paul, this is the cynicism. This is what's wrong with America right here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just it's not always about, well, who's looking to make a buck. Frankly, I'm a little sickened by you're just immediately dismissing, well, they're just out to make money. I feel that's wrong. You don't know these people. They could be very good, generous, honest, hardworking, blue collar people, and you're immediately assuming they're making up stories about Sasquatches crawling through tunnels of light for personal
Oh
profit.
yeah, wait, what got you your $1 million to sell your ranch where nothing's happening? Oh, you just had to say that at the Sasquatch light thing. Yeah, we're seeing. Yeah, we definitely have the Sasquatch light
Yeah,
thing.
Sam Squanch, he came through the laser tunnel here too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Cows. Our cows are also skinned. Yes, that's what's happening
Mm-hmm.
on
And walked.
on
They
our
also
property as well. You
skin walked.
probably want to buy ours too.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
this is this right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's wrong with political discourse.
I also can't take seriously, guys. Yeah, we probably came across as very wealthy and highly educated. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah?
I'm sure you did.
Did you? Yeah.
Did you? Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the neighbors thought we were very sexually attractive.
Virile and yeah.
Virile and yeah, successful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Of exceptional intelligence. Yeah, we were very.
They mostly they were intimidated and jealous of us
It's right.
because of our massive penises. They, it's commented on a lot, and it's just it's part
admired, worshipped some.
Yeah. Most of the neighbors, I'd say, most of the men wanted to be me. The women wanted to be with me.
Yeah.
Most of the animals on the other ranches wishes they could talk so they could talk to me and get to know me better. That was yeah.
Yep. That's definitely
highly educated.
That's very good self-assessment, sir. Very good self-assessment.
Not like these brain dead hicks.
Exactly. Yeah. It's literally like, hey, some morons just bought the Gorman Ranch and have set up scientific instruments because they think a cow died.
Yeah.
The
Well,
rubes from
they're
the
very highly educated, and
That's right.
I'll let you
The
film on
rubes
my
from the
ranch.
city are here.
Yeah.
Are they doing anything at the ranch? No, they've got a camera pointing at another camera.
I've
That's
got
what they're
alien-
doing over there.
I got alien. Oh.
They do know that just a coyote got one of the calves, right? Did they know that? No. They know.
Oh my god. I'm just picturing like the people that I know that ranch and go just like
Right.
watching it. People researchers setting up cameras, filming cameras on like the neighboring property and just yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Rolling their eyes.
got a goddamn skinwalker over here, man. I tell you what, 50 cow killed him right now. Coming. Best
We
give me
got-
$1,000.
We absolutely have the 2-dimensional light. We got the 2-dimensional light over at ours too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got 2x2. Mhm. Timothy Harmon, super chatting us, Paul.
Mm.
I
Go ahead.
live in PDX. I don't know what that is. And just observed a Bigfoot crawling out of a 2-dimensional light tunnel in my backyard. Cash offers.
That's right.
Only.
That's what you want to put on the real estate listing.
No low ball offers. I know what I've got. Serious offers only.
Property as is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Uh-oh. That was the worst I've ever heard.
The people in this town were definitely shaking their heads.
Yeah. They wouldn't even it just got that look, you know. You've probably seen it in the watching someone from a city do something real stupid.
Yep.
And we're just sitting there watching. Nobody's shaking their heads. Nobody's
Nope.
making any body move, but just there's just that look. You're just like,
We're gonna let this happen, but this guy's gonna get eaten by a bear.
Oh, apparently PDX is Portland. I didn't know it. Do you know that, Paul?
I didn't know that. PDX.
I assume that's like the airport.
Oh,
code
that's
for
maybe
Portland?
it must be like their YYC equivalent or something.
Mm-hmm. YYZ.
we're experiencing the
Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Yep. It's all the vibrations messing up the sound.
So I tried an experiment to fix that this time, and it didn't work. So it'll be another improvement for next time.
But that's why they call it experiments, Paul. You gotta just
true.
You know. Yeah.
5 or 6 properties that surrounded the ranch were experiencing exactly the same thing. So that gave us
I guess that
a tremendous amount of credibility.
I guess that word has leaked out in some quarters where the ranch is located, but let's make this appeal right now. Trespassers will be prosecuted.
Yes.
If you know where the ranch is, don't go there. This is serious scientific work, and it's underway. It's still underway right now, right, Colum?
Yes, there's the ranch is under constant surveillance, and there are people stationed on the property, so it is absolutely not acceptable to trespass.
All right, the hour's up. That's it. Thank you for being here. I can't thank you enough for taking the hour and spending it with us.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to connect with you again.
We'll have to have you back for a whole show. If you could go back and not get involved with Area 51, Bob Lazar, John Lear, would you?
Oh, no, I'd do the same thing. I might do a better job, but I would do it. It's opened so much for me, not only as a journalist, but as a human being, and opened my eyes to stuff I might not have seen.
All right. When you finally did get access to the ranch,
So to be clear, they're letting.
Hey, Skeptics and Scoundrels just showed up. Speaking of, we were talking about you early, Skeptics, about the line appearance with the Art Bell reference.
That's right, the Art Bell line appearance. Reliving the fun of the caller.
Speak of the devil, and he will appear.
So I think what's happened on the show is that Colm.
Yeah, the Colm Kelleher.
Colm had
leave.
to
He only had
go.
an hour. Yeah.
So now we are left with, I forget the other gentleman's name, George.
The guy that has hosted
George
Toast
Knapp.
a couple times. Yeah, George Knapp. Yeah.
George Knapp.
Yeah.
And now I guess they're gonna you and I haven't previewed this, so we don't know. They're gonna chit chat.
Keep
about
talking about
something.
Skinwalker, I assume. Yeah. That's definitely, unfortunately, Mark and Chris, that is not Art shuts down a caller. He's not shutting down the caller. They said at the start that the caller.
That's right. He only had a.
Yeah, he only had an hour. He had a previous engagement he had to go to, so it was like you got the hour and he has to leave. So that it wasn't Art shutting him down. That was a predetermined. We only have an hour to talk to you, and then you're gone. You're gone. Yeah. Plus, we haven't had callers. This isn't the caller.
I don't actually understand this super chat, Dave. Maybe you can help me. Scotty Orange says Canadian AI generated art reacting to this caller.
Was it the crazy, bad, distorted audio?
Oh,
sounded like an AI generated thing.
But
maybe
that was generated art. It seems to. Oh, I was thinking art as in. I wasn't. He capitalized art, so he means Art
Yes,
Bell.
he's talking about art. Yeah.
Yes, perhaps. Yes, perhaps there was a.
Oh, you were thinking like generated art, like the.
Yeah. So, but
like
Canadian
like
would be a polite version of Art Bell.
For me. What? Sorry.
So Canadian, I'm assuming he means that art was being polite, right?
I was making an AI cat girl joke and you missed it.
There probably is enough. So one can, if one is so inclined.
Yeah.
Clone voices that they are not authorized to clone.
What? How?
Well,
in detail.
I suppose one probably could create an Art Bell at this point. There'd be enough.
You could easily, like, there's literally
there's
thousands of
hours of you could definitely make a new Art Bell.
Yeah, it would an AI would have no problem.
No.
Yeah.
You investigate enough to become a believer that these stories were indeed happening.
Very much so, in part because of the credibility of Bob Bigelow and Ed. These are serious guys. They weren't out looking for attention. They were trying to investigate, interviewing witnesses, talking to neighbors, researching the history. People wonder if this is a government psychological warfare campaign or something like that. This stuff has been going on in that region before there was a U.S. government. Father Escalante wrote about him in his journal in 1776. Native American traditions say it's been going on a lot longer. It's not a government operation. It's real. I've interviewed enough people to be convinced, plus the evidence collected by NIDS over a 7-year study. That area is the most intensely studied paranormal hotspot in history.
Any guesses? If you had to guess, what do you think is going on there?
It's purely a guess. We tried to rule out more things than coming to a conclusion because there's not enough evidence to demonstrate something conclusively, but it seems dimensional. It seems like the portal, the rancher, Tom Gorman.
What, Dave, in your mind?
Yeah.
Can you name me something that isn't dimensional?
Love.
All right.
Bam!
It's like being dimensional is like the least. Like it's just is it? Does it exist?
What does that fucking mean? Yeah,
like it's.
Do you mean from like something outside our dimensions? That's yeah. I
it doesn't matter. Even if it's even the 2-dimensional light was dimensional.
Dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you can piss that at the stars. You set your mind to it.
I feel like the least interesting thing you can say about an object is that it has dimension.
I'm going to go ahead and you know what? House has dimensions, alternate realities. I feel like I'm just gonna go ahead.
Recalled
the.
And I'm gonna go ahead and check the Nazis in the Thule Society.
No Nazis.
What?
There's no Ark of the Covenant. You almost had me because I was almost gonna even say out loud, I don't much care. But no, you can't just be checking off Ark of the Covenant.
I've found the limits, so you can just check whatever you want. I'm gonna check Nazis. Well, that's a bridge too far. They clearly,
it is a bridge too far.
Have not mentioned Nazis. in any way, shape, or
That's
form.
no.
This is probably a government cover-up, though, right?
Actually, probably. I'll see. That's where you. That's where you
That's
need to
where I
wear
could.
me. You need to wear me down slowly on things.
It's like when gas goes up 30 cents a liter and then comes down 15 cents. You're like, oh man, gas is so much cheaper. It's still 15 cents a liter cheaper. Well, or I
Yeah,
guess
or so.
gallons in the States, whatever it is.
I was
don't
gonna
even
say
know.
you're appealing to a very limited audience.
I'm
there,
feeling
but
to I'm my Canadian showing my
I had to.
metric
I was
measurement.
I was
I
filling up
meant
my
how
gas tank this
many
morning, and
Freedom
I
Eagles
had the
per
nostalgia for. Oh man, I remember during COVID it was 87 cents a liter.
Yeah.
Now it's $1.87.
Yeah.
COVID
Oh my god.
COVID sure was good for gas prices.
Sure was.
I mean, not if you're an Albertan, because low gas prices means that you everything else sucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Texas. You know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Seeing what looked like a sun in the sky through which objects would enter and leave. And on the other side of this big orange ball sun-like object, he could see another sky. It suggests that maybe there are other worlds, a parallel universe, alternate dimensions. I'm not smart enough to figure that out, but we mentioned it's consistent with some of the research on the cutting edge of physics and cosmology right now. The concept of the multiverse fits. A physicist named Dr. Jack Sarfati, a regular listener, read the book, and it fits with where modern science is heading about the nature of our reality. And it seems like what's going
I'm delighted that he thinks modern science is heading to the multiverse. Anyways,
It's
whatever.
finally catching up to him where he's
finally
at.
catching up to him. Yep.
on at the ranch is a learning curve. They're giving us a little bit of rope and dragging us along so we understand that reality isn't what it used to be, that the world is a much bigger, more mysterious.
You carried cameras up there. Did you ever catch anything that you could air?
Well, we've got stuff that we can air, but
Did you ever catch any actual thing? Well, we got a lot of footage of our other cameras.
That's right. Yeah.
Expensive footage of our other cameras.
If you're asking me, do I ever catch anything anomalous on camera?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
I do have some stuff from
Nothing anomalous. No.
What would you, if we had a toast-to-toast drinking game, Paul, which in a way is what this bingo is, what are some of the things that you would have, like, if this comes up, you got to take a drink? From Art Bell, toast-to-toast drinking game. It's kind of hard because, like, we go all over the map with what we listen to. So, like, what comes up one week, there aren't sort of it's not like we're constantly listening to Answers in Genesis or something where it's like, yeah, there's going to be like talking points that come up all the fucking time because we're always listening to the same guest talking about the same sort of things. It might be Malachi Martin talking about exorcisms, or these guys talking about Skinwalker Ranch, or somebody talking about how they shot a Bigfoot, or time travel or whatever. So it's like a lot of times, there's not real commonalities going through.
So some of the things that we don't include typically in our show.
Yeah.
We tend to not get long enough for the callers, which is in its own way sad sometimes. So that's why sometimes we pick shows that were just call-in shows, because the callers
is the best part of the show often.
But would also lend some of that more recurring things because they tend to have the same kind of
they're talking about chemtrails or whatever.
Right. And also what we also don't include is that for many years Art did sort of an hour of riffing before the main show started.
Yeah.
That was basically reading news stories that he found interesting to him.
What's kind of going on
and that would air. It wouldn't air in the West Coast, that part of the show. It would only air East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, they were basically treading water. And then when the main show started, they actually pretended, even weirdly, like that part it was deliberately segregated, right? Like they wouldn't have the guest on, they weren't previewing things. And so some of that stuff was fun because I just remember so much of him talking about Clinton.
Yes. Yeah.
And Y2K and a lot of the stuff that was just happening around then and selling weird shit. Like he would get the
I guess,
lamest sponsors, right?
Yeah.
The magic spoon of the day.
If we
or
were
the,
listening to the pocket fisherman or the
Yeah.
fries and egg in a shell. Yeah.
So those are things that I like when I think nostalgically back to when I listened to the show, a lot of that stuff was there.
Yeah.
We tend to go straight to the heart of the guest.
Yes. Because we barely managed to get through 35 minutes.
Right, exactly.
of a
And
good
so
show.
that is the meat. That is the part that actually had the most variance, I would say. Do you disagree?
No, you're right. Yeah, we're listening to 25 minutes of a 4-hour show.
Yeah. And so the repeatable tropes we tend to lose, I think.
All right. I got to run again, Paul.
All right.
Skinwalker Ranch. Keep her going.
Archives, mutilation incidents, tracks, and things of that sort. We interviewed a lot of witnesses up there. We interviewed NID staffers, collected a great deal of material for this documentary. My buddy Colum, one of the first trips I made up there, my pal Colum, he decides I have this inherent weirdness quotient. So he takes me out in the middle homestead.
Yeah, Candy, you're absolutely right. We actually have covered in the past the time traveler line. And I think we've also done an episode where we covered the vampire line. Those are some of the best, and we should definitely get to some of those. In fall, we'll definitely get to some more of those. There's also the annual Ghost to Ghost show that they do that I'm sure Dave and I will cover again as we get close to Halloween. Yeah, those are, Candy, you're absolutely right. Those are some great ones.
Strange stuff had happened where that tunnel of light had appeared, where animals had been butchered and others disappeared, where a predator type object had materialized and scared the bejesus out of everyone. It's the middle of the night. He puts me on a chair and leaves me to see if something comes to get me. Now, before this, yeah, my pal, right? Before this, we had done some things that in the past had riled this entity up. We got a big earth mover, dug around a lot of dirt. That seems to get its attention. We built a big fire, made a bunch of noise, tried to get its attention, and then plopped me out on a chair for a while in the middle of nowhere and left me. So
this starts to sound a little bit like Mel's Hole here. All of a sudden, we're just literally like just baiting people. I wonder if a goat turns into a seal creature. That'd be cool.
I'd like to tell you that I was brave and I wasn't concerned at all, but I was. I mean, it was a scary thing. And the only thing
you were like chum in the water.
Yeah. The only thing that came to get me were mosquitoes.
So now they're George is describing incidences where they were literally trying to bait whatever the creature or whatever the entity that they're hypothesizing might exist. They were literally putting people out in lawn chairs as bait.
Okay.
And it just reminded me of like when they started doing weird. So when Mel's Hole started to get less special on its own. Oh, now we're going to start doing weird experiments. We're going to throw a goat down there and see what happens. So.
It was a sheep, wasn't it? In Mel's Hole?
The one that turned into a seal creature?
Yeah.
I thought it was a goat, but you might be right. It might have been a sheep.
I thought it was a sheep.
Oh no, I do, because I remember making the thumbnail now.
But it wasn't the sheep didn't turn into. It was, and then the sheep died and had like all these like weird tumors over it. And then you cut the sheep open, and the seal creature came out from inside the sheep.
Right.
In a crazy alien-ish kind of, yeah.
And healed his cancer.
And healed his cancer.
And and had very existential sad eyes that made him feel a certain kind of way about his life. Yeah.
Yeah. God, Mel's Hole's just the best. We might have to, like in 2 years, we might just have to go through Mel's Hole again because it's
just do it again.
It's just the best. It's just the best of Art Bell. I mean, yeah.
Happy to report.
Do you believe that they took element, what was it? I think 115, right? Out of Area 51. Do you think that happened?
Bob and/or.
What's element 115?
I have no idea. I was just about to pull up a periodic table.
Was that on the periodic table somewhere?
It would be on the periodic table, yeah.
No, but 115 115
Moscovium. Yeah, because I'm like that. The periodic table goes higher than 115.
I don't, but
it wouldn't be a natural.
no, but I was gonna say, but the uranium is lower than 115.
Yeah, uranium's like 90 something.
Yeah.
When you get into the hundreds, you're starting to get into like basically.
Yeah. So okay.
Um,
So the element that doesn't exist in nature, they removed from. So are they saying, so they found some 115
I mean, maybe it's not a stable element and it doesn't.
that shouldn't exist?
exist.
So
Like,
on
it's
Skinwalker
been
Ranch,
made. It's existed. Well,
I understand, but it
Yeah.
shouldn't. They shouldn't just be finding it naturally
But then Art's
occurring.
like, did you think they pulled it out of Area 51? It feels like he's sort of going way off into left field here. Maybe it has something to do with, but I don't know. There's probably a story.
Well, that's why
behind
I'm
it.
thinking maybe element 115 means something different than what you and I are assuming it means.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we can keep listening instead of
Wait,
hypothesizing.
no, let's just keep talking. Let's just keep shooting off about shit we know nothing
Cohorts
about.
did? Yeah, I do believe it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I saw it. I saw it it was in a leaden container that was at his house for a time period. I saw some experiments.
So I'm sorry. If you have element 115 the way we're talking about it,
Yeah.
a lead container is going to do shit.
I mean, that's not true because it would be radioactive because it is a very unstable isotope. Like, it only lasts a couple of seconds, then it breaks apart to other things, and that, like, it would release radiation when it does that.
But here's what nobody said. I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. So,
like, the fact that it's in a lead box doesn't mean you get to see it.
and
Like,
also, what the fuck does that, like, I saw it. Like, did it have a big 115 stamped on it? What was the? How
Right.
did you know this pile of stuff was element 115 versus, platinum,
right, or 113,
which also
Yeah.
I think is not a stable.
Yeah, I think uranium. I'm trying to look on the periodic table here. Uranium is the heaviest naturally occurring, as far as I know.
Yeah, neither of us are
but-
chemists or chemical engineers.
Yes, as the director of the Ark in the Darkness will tell you, I'm not a scientist.
Which is accurate.
Correct.
Yes, the heaviest the heaviest naturally occurring element in the universe is uranium. Anything
See?
past uranium is synthetic in some way.
Anyway.
Yeah. But there are many synthetic elements past uranium that have been manufactured by, humans. But pretty much all of them instantly decay because they're not stable elements.
Right.
That's always kind of if you can find a transuranic element that is stable, atomically stable, that would be a big deal. But nobody has done it yet. I think I remember, because I did actually take some chemical engineering and things, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, mathematically, we think, like, there's certain numbers that, like, this should be stable if you could get to this because of, the way you can model it, right? If, like, protons, neutrons, like,
Yes,
the atom
exactly.
will probably
Right.
form this. It's like, so if you could get to whatever number, 187, I'm just throwing out shit
Mhm.
number, but, like, if you get to this number and force these things together, there's protons and neutrons to form a nucleus, it would be stable because, it would balance out in a way that would last theoretically, but, we can't do it and it ain't gonna happen. But 115 is definitely not one of those. It lasts literally. I looked it up. Literally seconds. Like, if you make any of it, it has existed. People have made it. It's like, and within seconds, it's gone. It has a half-life of seconds. Yeah.
They did with what they call a cloud chamber, how this thing sort of bent light.
I had no idea you'd seen it.
Yeah. When Bob thought he was
That's because he has it.
Yeah.
going to be, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll go ahead. When Bob thought he was going to be taken out, he had this particle accelerator at his house, and he had this container with the 115 in it right in front of it. And he was ready to flip a switch and say goodbye to Las Vegas, I think. I don't know if that was a dramatic
So Spaceman Bob, with his own
Uh-huh.
space station,
Uh-huh.
had a container of 115,
Yeah.
and he was gonna what? He was gonna put it through a collider.
I mean, I guess. I don't know why you
What was
would.
that?
That's like,
As you said, it breaks down in seconds. So what the
yeah.
hell is he? I don't care what you're gonna put it through. Oh, I'm gonna study it in a collider. It's not gonna collide with nothing. It's gonna be gone.
I mean, if you had it in a stasis bubble or whatever, like it would be worth huge money because there are many particle physicists and research things that would be like, I would like this is
Right.
incredibly expensive and difficult for us to manufacture atoms of it, small atoms. You have to collide, use some kind of particle accelerator to collide things, and you can
And
force them
Scotty
into
has a
for a
good
short
point.
time.
Even in
Yeah.
2007, not a lot of particle accelerators in the world. Like
We got
so,
we got two in my little city of Saskatoon where the blowjob queen lives. So
but in
fuck you.
2007 you didn't.
No, we still only had the one. We might have by then. We definitely had one.
Yeah, you had one because you had one when I was working in
I'm trying to remember where the
innovation
synchrotron
innovation
came
place.
online.
That's where I was working there.
Yeah. Well, the U of S has had one since like the 90s.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Scotty makes a good point. Like we're not yet at the point where you got one at home. You got in the garage. I got a
Mr. Fusion.
I got a generator and I got a paint air compressor and yeah. Mr. Fusion, yes, exactly. We don't have one of those.
Or what it was, but thank God he didn't do it. Yeah, well, it's not a pretty picture. I've really made some effort over the years. I guess obviously not enough effort to find that stuff because it's obtainable. I think it's obtainable.
There was a movie in which they called something.
It's unobtainium.
It's unobtainium. It's if you can make a couple atoms of it, they last for a couple seconds and then they're gone. It's not an obtainable thing that you can have or get, and also has no practical purpose. There's nothing good or amazing.
Right. There's not like if we had it, we could make our cell phones that would the battery would last 6 times longer.
It has no particular.
No.
It makes radiation, so that's cool. Yeah.
Sonic Shroom.
Yeah.
For, I think Australian $5. I think that's what we got here.
I'm gonna go ahead and choose Azerbaijani.
He was actually about to top shoot electrons through his neighbors.
I think he was. I'm going to assume that's a typo. He was actually about to shoot electrons through his neighbors.
Yes. That and also just in an attempt to not have to buy their places.
Yeah.
Do we have others?
We have so many more super chats, Paul.
Yeah, let me. I have this new view that they've now given me where I can just view the super chats alone, which is kind of cool.
Ooh.
So now I can see that Adam
elitist. A super chat $10. I used to love hearing Bob Bigelow stories until he was on Joe Rogan's podcast and realized he's a bored billionaire and kind of out there, possibly an idiot. And fair enough.
I don't know that if you took all the billionaires in the world and gave them like IQ tests, I feel like it would be a standard distribution curve. Do you think it would be more skewed?
That's tough. Like, I don't know what the percentage of inherited wealth.
Well, that's what I'm counting on, is that at least some of it is inherited wealth.
I did see way back when I was in school, so this is 25 years ago, where there were a lot fewer billionaires than there are now. And it was kind of, this was in psychology, and I did see research on this, and it was like most billionaires at that time, very few of them inherited. They were all, most of them, I won't say all, most of them were self-made.
Gotcha.
So that was when it was like, there was still, you know, it was like kind of, and I imagine the same is true now. Like the actual richest, you know, sort of Saudi
Right.
oil
Yeah.
making
And that
guy.
I was, yeah, I think you're right.
Because
I
the
wasn't.
people, it's the same as like people who win Olympic gold medals or are Super Bowl winning quarterbacks or whatever. It's like the drive you need to do that. You are not a well-adjusted person. Is
Right.
essentially the long and the short of it, right? Like there's something wrong with you. If you win an Olympic gold medal, there's something wrong with you in some way, because like that's a mean way to say it, but it's just like you, the amount of effort and to be like those hundreds of a second faster than the guy next to you, woman next to you, whatever. Let's not get off in the weeds here.
Yeah.
Like it's an insane, like it is not a mentally healthy obsession what you have to do to be the best in the world at any one thing. There's something's going on. Like just a
So that's
normal,
actually why I
emotionally adjusted
deliberately
person.
didn't phrase it that way. It's
Yeah.
so I feel like if you wanted to say the top like 0.1% of any given field
Yeah.
is probably different than the normal distribution curve. I guess
Yes,
I was sort of
absolutely.
saying that now at this point, billionaire has been watered down because of
The
inflation
billionaire
and other
has, right? So if you
factors.
get into like the
That,
tens of billions
right.
nares,
That
that
now billionaire probably doesn't automatically mean that you're smart.
you're
is all I'm
you're
saying.
hitting the edge of the bell curve. So there's
Yeah.
there's some outlier that is
Yeah.
causing this to happen. Yes.
Anyway.
Whether it be ability or intelligence or luck or psychopathy or whatever, there's something
Sure.
that's driving you to be like 10 billion isn't enough. I need 20 billion. It's like, why do you need this? You don't. There's no reason. There's no reason to do this. Yeah. But anyways,
Anyway,
neither of us are
thank you,
psychologists.
Adam. But we
Yeah.
appreciate.
We appreciate the chat.
I actually am now quasi interested to looking up when Bob Bigelow was on Joe Rogan's podcast. So maybe
So I am not a regular listener or anything wrong, but I did recently. So I've had a lot of people tell me for years that Terrence Howard is just like absolutely insane. I don't know if you're familiar with Terrence Howard or any of his. So Terrence Howard was the guy who played Rhodey in the very first Iron Man movie, right before he was replaced.
Okay.
By Don Cheadle.
Yes.
You know, and he's other things. So he is this whole thing. So his big thing is like 1 × 1 is 2. And he has like this whole mathematical proof and like all these things. And it's all like it's complete nonsense. Like he's legitimately not sane.
Okay.
When you get into it. And it's like it's math based on philosophy and things. So finally, so he was on Joe Rogan at one time and kind of like going on at length about his whack job theories. And I'd sort of known like meme wise on the internet, people are like, well, Terrence Howard is crazy. And I just sort of like went. Then so I finally like watched, there was an episode of Joe Rogan with Terrence Howard and Eric Weinstein, who was like an actual kind of like come back. He's like, no, you're wrong. He was nice about it, but he's like, you're totally wrong. And this is why you're wrong. And I can actually, it would be like the difference between you in a conversation with William Lane Craig and me, where I'm like, I feel like what you're saying is wrong. I know it's wrong, but I know it on like a gut level. Right. I do not have the nuts and bolts. I cannot go toe to toe with you because you're like blah 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 blah, and you're like, I don't actually know enough about this.
Right. Yeah.
Say this is right or wrong. But if Kip Davis was here, he'd be able to be like, no, what you just said was wrong. And so like everything based on that, and here's why it's wrong, and blah blah blah. You know, so there was basically a guy, an actual expert like that, who was able to be like, no, like you're conflating, kind of like zero and the empty set, and the empty set is a different thing in mathematics than zero.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Even though honestly, in most like colloquialism, like you can use the two interchangeably
Sure.
in a lot of situations, and it's fine, but they are not actually the same thing. And they're, and here's where this is different. And I can get into the very specific weeds about why what you're saying is wrong and crazy. But so there's like sort of mathematics, but then he gets into things is like, well, because the breadth of stars and things, and you're just like, oh, holy fuck, this guy's like just crazy, right? Like, and it was one of those things where like I'd heard lots of things on the internet and friends and me like things is like, Terrence Howard's like, he's wacky, and you sort of think it's kind of like that, the stereotype of like the Hollywood actor who's into like some wacky things, and I'm Gwyneth Paltrow and I believe I need to like, get sun on my taint and whatever.
Right.
It's like, okay, cool.
But ironically,
yeah,
Terrence Howard, if Hart Bell was still alive, he probably would have someone like Terrence Howard on his show.
Absolutely would. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And would let him espouse at length about his crazy ass proofs. Yeah.
All right. Stephanie Helms writes, you never heard of the
Popeil? Popeil, Paul. Mr. Popeil. Are you familiar with Popeil? Does that mean anything to you?
No.
That was like 80s infomercial. So it was like the pocket fisherman, the Popeil.
Oh.
Weird Al has a song about it.
Just wasn't. My brain wasn't thinking there. Yes. That's awesome. Well done. Well played, Stephanie.
Popeil pocket accelerator.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Just you can accelerate atoms in your comfort of your own home.
Love it. Timothy Harmon writes, $5. I made a home particle accelerator with my 3D printer.
$7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. All you needed was some magnets I got from my fridge, and yeah.
So Dave, we are how deep are we?
We're about 4 hours in of our show. I don't know how deep we're in on the actual show.
I feel like I've now yawned a few times here.
You sure have.
I am thinking that perhaps
4 hours we've listened to 32 minutes of tape. I feel like that's a low ball.
That's not dissimilar.
Well, all right.
It's not great. We typically do, I would say, about 40 is what we often do.
We were in the weeds more. But you know what, Paul? We haven't had as much time this summer as we typically do.
It's true, to vent
we've had to, we needed Paul and Dave time.
Some catching up on things.
There was a backlog, yeah.
Absolutely.
And everybody else was just forced to come along with us.
So I think that's where I'm going to call it. But I heard earlier when the show was starting that today may or may not be National Joke Day.
That is it? Okay.
And who knows? I don't even know what nation the people may have been suggesting that's when it was from. So who knows?
I assume Joketopia.
That's right. So do you have in mind, Dave, a closing joke for the day?
Okay. Well, if I'd known it was National Joke Day, I would have taken some time and busted out a good long one. But I don't have a long joke today, which is fine because you're falling asleep.
Yep.
So Paul, I'll ask you, what do you call a math teacher who's into leather and whips?
What do you call a math teacher who's into leather and whips?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Dave. What do you call a math teacher?
It's
denominatrix.
Yeah, sorry. Every time I try to tell a BDSM joke, I get all tied up on the punchline. You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. That is pretty good.
Yeah.
That is pretty. Humor is about the unexpected, and that was well played. I love it.
There you go. National Joke Day, everybody.
National Joke Day, everybody. All right. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us and watching.
You loved it.
Any final thoughts, Dave, or we're good?
I got a terrible itch. I should probably get somebody to look at it. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, but we should not delve any further on air about where where this itch might be. We don't need it. We can leave that to the imagination.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will be doing it more regularly now that the fall has begun.
Hopefully 2 weeks. It's my birthday in 2 weeks, chat.
That's
Everybody,
true.
Pre-warning. Get your
Yeah, we'll
gifts
have to
and
talk
warm
about
wishes
whether
ready.
that may not be the best week to do one based on your partying. But we'll figure it out.
Oh, it's fine. I'm gonna make. There's nowhere I'd rather be.
All right.
You know.
Well,
right
Dave's
here with all these
birthday,
beautiful
everybody.
people.
Get your gift super chats ready.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just
All right.
flagrantly soliciting.
That's right. All right, everyone. Night night.
Good night, everybody. And that's the end of our show.